Do we want to move those maps just in case Debbie shows up?
It's already 2 o'clock. I think so. Are we rolling there, Annette?
We are.
Okay. So I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Corporation of the Township of Bonnechere Valley. It's committee meeting at 2 o'clock in the council chambers at the municipal building. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I have a deletion. I don't need to do a mayor's report today.
Okay.
Okay, I'll wait until after the AMO conference.
All right.
Thank you.
Herb? Nope. John?
No, I have none.
Annette?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Oh,
We're rolling right along.
rolling right on. And I have, I'm gonna add a closed session for the purpose of an identifiable individual. And I just have some questions regarding some stumps and stuff in Cormac with Calvin and just some other stuff. with
Yeah, I've got
Jason.
other stuff.
But it's as it's
That's
coming
not
up.
what the closed session's on though. That's
No.
your decision.
No,
That's-
no. So just other, that's what I'm adding.
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a confirmation of the agenda? Brent, all in favor? Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Can I get an approval of the minutes for the committee meeting of July 12th, 2022? Jennifer, all in favor? And we do have a delegation today. We have Barry O'Reilly to discuss the proposal on the railway bed, the rail bed widening along with David Ellis. And so Barry, if you want to come on up and you have the floor.
Dave, you can drag a chair up as well if you want to.
Yeah, okay.
You want to join them?
Good everyone. Rookie mayors, council, thank you so much for having David Ellis and I here today to speak on behalf of the Tranquility Bay Property Owners Association with regards to the widening of the railway bed. So we're able to access our properties and I guess most importantly have the ability to have first responders arrive at the time of need. Just to sort of create a bit of a timeline, I'd like to thank the big leader here in front of me today, August 14th of 2019. And this will just kind of give us an idea of the time that we've been working on this this project. So a quote from that paper, the unit leader back in, like I mentioned before, August 14, 2019, was a comment there that Jennifer Murphy, Mayor, agreed that she was concerned about the safety issues and the ability of first responders to reach properties on Tranquility Bay. Surely we can do something to remedy this situation, she said. My first concern remains the first responders' access to these properties. Nothing has changed since then. In fact, the roads have become a little worse than what they were back in 2019 when it was first brought to council. We were at council, of course, last year discussing possibilities as to how we can access our properties, and once again, most importantly, the first responders. And just to add a bit of a note, as I'm working on this yesterday marked the 5th anniversary of the near fatal accident that I was in on Highway 60 at Wilbur Lake. If it wasn't for the first responders, okay, at that point in time, being able to get there, to be able to provide treatment to me, get me to Pembroke where I was assessed, fly me to the Civic Hospital in Pembroke where surgeons worked on me for 7 hours, I wouldn't be here today. All right, so I'm bringing this up because of the comments that were made back in 2019 and it's bang on for that. The whole idea to have the ability to access these properties is if something happens, obviously, it will save lives. And we've been all working, as you know, on this for 3-4 years to try to provide a solution to be able to prevent a loss of life or fatal injuries or just to be able to provide the service that I think we all should have. I think we know what the solution is. The railway bed to the east, we know that the gate's been closed a number of times. We cannot count on that. Even if the first responder had to respond, they wouldn't know which way to go. I mean, you could run up into a closed gate. I mean, another option would be to come down the hill, as we know, it's not doable. So once again, the solution would be to be able to access our properties as property owners and of course the first responders via that western kilometer of roadway. I think last fall the grader went down that road and it widened it out even more than it had been, of course, over the last 10 years. So it is a great solution. I think right now it is our only solution, and we just need to find the way to be able to accommodate everybody here to have that as our primary road for us as well as first responders.
And I think, Mary, if I may interject, when you met with Merv and Jason and I, with your crew, one of the things that you had indicated was that there are a lot more people that want to live on that road permanently and work from home or are now retired. They're building bigger homes. And I think that that was one of the interesting aspects of our meeting when Merv and I met with you. And I think Jason agreed, like, if this is going to be permanent homes, then it's a lot different than a simple cottage road.
Well, there's no doubt. This is personally, I'm going to be retiring within months, and I grew up in this area, and to leave this area to go to work, obviously for a lot of people like myself is essential. But if we can spend our retirement life in this area, I mean, this is just what really makes a lot of sense to people like myself. You're absolutely right. We have permanent residents in Tranquility Bay right now. There are others that are just waiting the outcome. I mean, it's difficult to plan, to build or to move into an area if you can't have guaranteed access to get there. So this is one of the biggest reasons why we need to get something in place to be able to access these properties. And I think we could bring a lot to the community as well. I know when we're here during the summertime, obviously we're spending our dollars here in the grocery stores and all kinds of shops and trying to help the communities as best we can. And this is what we would like to do. And really the big roadblock for a lot of people in Tranquility Bay is we have no idea which road to take when we leave home to get to our door. I mean, thank God there's people there that we can pick up the phone and say, okay, is the gate open? And we've been met with responses that included, are you kidding me? It's never open. All right. Or what's the hill like? Well, we had a big rain and it's all washed out. And it's just an ongoing thing, as I mentioned before. We've been on this since 2019. We've done everything that we can, and council's been really working well with this. I know the pandemic has slowed things down a wee bit, but we're certainly looking for a favorable outcome as we move forward.
So do you have plans?
Well,
I know Jason provided you with an estimate,
right,
but that would be that's probably a very low estimate.
right. And you know what? With 14 cottage or property owners in there, I mean, the numbers that Jason's provided us were 169,900, we're talking 169,900, and you're alluding to it could be low, which it could be. The question I have is that how would the distribution of that $169,000 be spread out? Would council be absorbing all of that cost, 75% of that cost, 60% of that cost? How was the distribution of those funds to be allocated?
Obviously, I don't think any of us can answer that right now. I think that,
I guess I have a question.
Go ahead, Brent.
I guess one of my questions, so I guess when Tranquility, they first started and stuff, what was the access point when the first houses were made? Was it always just through the eastern, like eastern?
We had a
is what
road
you said?
allowance that came from the top of the hill
Mhm.
and right down to the lake.
Mhm.
That was it.
But it wasn't, but when the first houses were originally built,
Right.
was it always like 24/7 your access, or was
No.
it just winter maintenance, right?
It was just
So I guess, so
July and August.
it's just summer, right? So no different than, I guess, like, so if someone had, so like, we had a college up in Basil Lake, there we access during summer, it was full access only. So I guess, just so I understand your point to council right now. So you guys are kind of requesting the township either help or aid and assistance to put a road permanently in to the base through the old snowmobile tracks? Is that pretty much what you're requesting, right?
Yeah,
Or are you, that's what was the quote that Jason had provided.
right. So,
I just guess my question is, what is your ask to council, so we can all be clear?
Yeah, so that was what I was gonna ask as well. It's fill me in on.
And I just, there's one point too, I just want to make here. This is opening up the door that we had before for private roads.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, no, I just want,
Because if they're coming to expect council to come and pay for this, you're gonna
That's,
have every,
that's why I'm asking.
you're gonna
for a
have every
specific question,
private
yeah.
road in the township coming, looking for money.
we were just establishing what the
Yeah.
so we
reason of the
do- We do
agenda.
have some options that would be interesting for us to know what council's take on this would be.
I think Jack's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
If we do for you, we have to do for all the private roads.
Yeah.
Which obviously we do not have the resources to do. We have a lot of private roads in Monmouthshire Valley. And I think that all of us understand the angst of trying to get in and out and their question about, will the gate be open? I do think that the Western Tract is an interesting idea. Obviously, there'll be some questions about the snowmobile club. But outside of that, I think that we would be relying on your road association and seeing what your plan is.
Right, so one of the other options that we do have is, as we came to council last year, was to purchase that 1 kilometer. I mean, Township of Monmouthshire Valley sold, I guess, the property to the First Nations. We would be interested in making that purchase, that 1 kilometer tract.
And I think initially when we
I don't
talked,
think they were sold to First Nations.
I don't think so either.
Council didn't have this, I might, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think council had the option of selling it
No,
to First Nation.
Okay. we
It
did
was
not.
rolled back
It was
into,
rolled back, okay.
Yeah.
because with all these rail beds, when they were decommissioned or whatever you want to say, shut down, it's the property owners on each side had the right to purchase it.
Okay.
And that's.
that's how you, Scott,
Yeah, that's
Yes.
basically, yeah, that's basically how it was, because it fell back, because the Canadian Rail or Pacific Rail, whatever, they didn't want to have ownership for it, for liability issues, right? And that's my understanding, I might be
Yeah.
wrong, but I think,
No, you're right.
I think that's the way it went.
You are right.
And just to be clear, for this quote, I'm gathering Jason did go out of his way to do the research and stuff and give you a rough estimate on, as a quote of what it may cost you, but not as we are committing as a municipality to do this.
and I think initially when we met with council down on Tranquility Bay and Jason as well, we weren't asking as property owners to have that road brought up to municipal standards. And I'm not sure that that quote is up to municipal standards, is it, Jason? Or is it just fixed for using?
The problem is that you need so wide for the snowmobile club to run. They need a minimum of 15 feet. So right now, the narrowest spot is roughly about 5.1 meters, so you're looking at about 3.5 meters, right? So it's a dangerous situation to have a vehicle going down there if the groomer can't get through, right?
Is it,
Snowmobile safety issue.
is it council's wishes to accommodate all snowmobile clubs on council roads, municipality roads? Like,
Oh, just hang on a second. I believe the trail was bought, or was an ATV trail to begin with, was it?
Yeah, it was leased.
It was leased. It was
leased from
leased.
council?
It was
Leased
leased.
for
There's an
use.
agreement
There is an
Yeah.
agreement that they pay so much a year for,
that they have the rights to it, yeah.
Yeah.
and just them,
The ATV and the snowmobile.
Yeah, both of them.
There's two agreements, one for each club.
but it still belongs to the municipality?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So my question would be, was that taken care of in council chambers without asking anybody in the vicinity about, do you want to lease it? Or was it taken upon council to make that decision without asking other taxpayers in the area?
Well, the snowmobile agreement has been in place since long before I sat at this
Yeah,
table.
it was before I was here.
Yeah.
So on,
I don't know where it began,
yeah,
but so I just wanna, because in the spirit of time management here, if you wanted to take over this road,
mhm,
no, it would not have to be brought up to municipal standards. It would be a private road. And we have many private roads that are not the 66 feet and the,
yeah,
however, it would be, I think, advantageous if you were able to come to an agreement with the snowmobile and ATV clubs and bring it up to a standard where it would be safe, as Jason just said, for a vehicle and a snowmobile, or a vehicle and an ATV.
on that note, in Pickawakagon roads, they have a snowmobile trail that Bontre
Yeah,
has down the side of the road, which wouldn't be 2 meters wide, let alone 5.1 meters that is requested. So,
okay. What,
and myself as a snowmobiler in the Ottawa Valley for a number of years, have been on a lot of roads where, or on a lot of trails where the trail goes down alongside the road, where the groomer doesn't even groom. So for Bontre to hold that over you as council, us as taxpayers, that they need that 5.1 meters,
No, they don't get 5.
Three and a half.
3.5 meters down that westerly railroad bed is, I hate to say the word insane, but it's not politically correct, because they go up Tranquility Bay Road from the bottom of the hill where the 4 intersections are. They go up that road that we have deeded access to, and they never asked us about using that.
well,
So-
and certainly we've got snowmobiles on
Yeah,
most of
so,
our roads.
so to say that the snowmobile club is more pertinent for using that railroad bed than Tranquility Bay people, which would be year round for Tranquility Bay people, where snowmobiling is. Do we even get 3 good months up here anymore? I've been up here the last few years and there's some,
Okay,
but initially we didn't ask for that road when we had that meeting to be brought up to
Nope,
municipal standards. We just asked if we could use it or have it as a private road.
I was just gonna say, like, I guess on my end, I don't think we're gonna solve anything today, to be honest. But the thing is like, you guys are talking about, you already said that you're looking to purchase it, lease it, whatever. So I guess on your guys' end, I'd be interested on another day for you guys to work it out on your end for whatever the proposal you're thinking of. So you guys have something formally, you bring it, like, think about it, be it that it sounds like ATV Snowmobile Club have been around for a while, so thing is, if we're gonna lease or anything like that, I don't really look at choosing any sides, but I think it's your guys' responsibility, especially since you want more years at, like more 24/7 access pretty much, to like maybe talk to the club, see if there is any other options, and maybe we can help facilitate that. But the thing is like, I look at them like, it's not black and white, it's not two issues. The thing is snowmobile ATVs using now, okay, how can we accommodate them and yourself, something to look into, but I think you guys have to be the lead on it, in my opinion. Like, that's the thing, we're requesting upping standards is technically what it is. It's switching it from to all season rather than a couple seasons. And I'm not disagreeing,
Yeah.
that I would love to be able to provide you guys access to it. The difference is like, I think you just have to have a discussion with the ATV snowmobile, be like, how can you guys work together? And then you guys know their needs, your needs. Maybe there's another track that can go in a different spot, or that's the thing, just talk within your community, figure it out. We provide you a quote to go off of. I'm just one council at table. That's all I would want. It's just maybe come back with more of a formal proposal off talking to the two groups.
And the problem with that is we'll come back and it's a great possibility that all 5 of you might not even be here.
Oh,
So then we
100%.
start over again and we've been,
Jack's got the floor.
Yeah, I just got one point that could be used and could be presented is on a 1 kilometer, if you made like 2 or 3 tournaments.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and something like that, so then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
And then the whoever's coming could turn out or whatever, just to let the other vehicle by. And that's
Yeah.
something as simple as that could address it. But I think I agree with Brent that some sort of meeting that with the club, that you can maybe sit down and discuss. I don't know, this is just off the cuff. I don't know if it's up to Annette, but maybe Jason could be involved
I
and
was just gonna ask the same thing.
and sitting down and having this meeting with the president of Bonner Tray and the ATVs and yourselves, and come up with a possible solution so that the burden of bringing this road isn't on you guys. You know what I mean? It's like a couple of turnouts would be something that could done, I think, at a reasonable cost, right, Jason? So
Okay,
I think that's a possibility. So.
yeah, so if we get that kind of worked out and
It's
brought
a really good
together
idea, actually.
and bring it back to council and, yeah. it'll
It's
be
a
on
really
record.
good idea. Because the road is very nice and your guys did a fantastic job of grading it and making it.
they didn't do it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys didn't do,
That was
oh,
the ATV club, they have. to maintain
ATV.
okay. Well, they did a great job, but
So like it's pretty straight. There's about 2 corners in it if you made 2 turnouts down below and then one on the straight stretch, I think you'd be. But that's up to you. You get use individuals to decide. I don't know.
But on the side of widening it a bit here or there, I don't think council has any objection. I mean, you got a fair amount of fill along the side of the railroad track. You know, you can pick a couple of truckloads, there's all kinds of fill
Oh, I totally agree.
to widen it out a bit.
Okay, we're gonna soon wrap it up, so,
Yeah,
okay.
it's just a couple of things,
Yeah.
to your point, we have the ability, machinery to be able to do the widening of the road, we've already discussed this. Second point I need to ask is, what's the timeline or what's the contract that's already in place right now with Andre and the ATV club, like the leases for, when does that expire?
It doesn't,
No,
it
it's
doesn't expire
indefinite.
at the moment.
Wow.
So,
Really?
But
That's-
you can always terminate with notice. And I just don't know if the notice is 90 days or 1 year.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look.
Okay, that's fair.
But the other thing is, if you went with Jack's idea, there are signs, share the road,
Yes.
right? I think that if people are cognizant that this road is now being used as a vehicular road,
Mhm.
not just snowmobiles, and although it is right now anyway,
Yeah,
but if you put up, share the road, snowmobiles on road, something that lets people know we're going in and out, but we're all in this together. But I agree, like if Jason could help facilitate a meeting with ATV and Bontre, that would be amazing. If you
You're
don't
able to do that,
mind, Jay.
Jason?
Yes.
Okay,
So one last question. As we opened up, we've been on this for years, okay? And once again, we all appreciate your time and effort from council to work with us. This is important to us, as you know, and I know it's important to council as well. Moving forward from a timeline perspective, what are we looking at realistically that we can say, okay, we've got this wrapped up, it's done. we're moving forward. Thank you so much. Like, what are we talking here?
I think that would depend the outcome of your discussion with Entree.
I agree.
It depends what the proposal looks like, right? We can't really give a timeline to anything we don't really know.
Okay, so you're talking proposal, and that's a good question. Okay, so you're looking for what from us?
Well, we already discussed it, like to meet with ATV Club,
Okay,
Snowmobile Club,
that's fair.
Jason's gonna help facilitate, and the thing is, he's like, we can't, like, I don't think you're seeing any objection or opposition.
Not
Like,
at all.
hey, we loved all work together, differences, and you talked about a new council, it's like, well, we have 3 more meetings, all this together.
Okay.
Hey, you guys come back to September meeting, it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Just,
Council, we can get together on a special meeting if needed, like,
okay,
we can just keep the ball rolling, because you've been talking about it since 2019.
yeah.
I think this is the first delegation you guys had since when?
I was
Is
at
this the
council
first
last-
one? So the thing is we're always, our schedules are open. We're here all day. So
Right.
you guys want another delegation, put the request in, we can talk about it again. I'm fine with it. As long as we have a mission, you guys just get together, the ATV presence, Snowmobile presence, Jason, that's fine. We have another 3 weeks to a month for our next meeting.
Perfect.
In that 3 weeks to a month, I discussed when use become a lame duck where you can't make a decision. That's coming rather quick.
So, lame duck provisions are really on purchasing property, selling property, hiring, firing, or any expenses over $50,000 that are not approved in the budget. So I don't see any of those really coming in place. We do already have, if it was an emergency and we had to move forward with it, we do already have a delegation bylaw in place to give me powers should we need them. I hesitate to use those always. But I do think that even if the discussions move forward with yourselves, Jason, and maybe I could attend as well, then if you were able to come back with a proposal to one of the meetings in September, we would at least know sort of how things would progress and how things would go forward. But, it'll depend on what that proposal is, whether or not it touches the lame duck provisions. But they're pretty specific, so.
Okay.
I think a good brushing on the lakeside would probably give you some room too.
Yeah, there's it
Yeah.
in a few spots, but there's a few spots
There-
where
There are a few drop-offs on that side.
But leave every 10 trees or something,
Yeah, so,
as a guide.
but you guys have your direction.
I was just gonna say, we have our you have your direction and we'll be here and it's good meeting you guys.
Awesome.
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sidebar.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have completed our gravel tender. And we have also put down another truckload of calcium, so everything is tightened up very well. Secondly, the grinding at the snow rooters has been completed, other than the mattresses, and they will be completed this week. Sand Road brush pile has been completed, and so has Ruby. Speed sign, data has been collected on the connected length on Highway 60, Highway 41, 60, Highway 41. All of these have had speeding issues. The OPP has been notified and are doing random checks.
I saw it on Rodsburg Road. Was it not going to wetland?
It's there today,
Awesome. Thank you.
yes, and then we'll be going to Beal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you moved
Yeah.
it around a lot lately.
Also Bruce Mill, it showed no speeding.
No speeding?
No.
Really?
That's right.
Well, you should have been there the day of the McCray Park dinner.
Were you in a corner or?
What's that?
Were you on the corner?
No, no,
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's
but I
good.
understand the challenge with wetlands. You know, it's a dead end road, a lot of new young families on that road, and the kids are playing and people are just whipping down there. And I don't understand it because it's a dead end road. You're not going anywhere.
That's right, it's an 80-kilometer road per hour, and the data showed it was between 50 and 62, I believe, was the data.
Where's that?
On wetland.
On wetland.
And let's not forget, when you see, like, there's a lot of rough spots on wetland.
Yeah,
When you hear the chatter, it sounds like you're going faster too. It does. Yeah.
maybe it's as simple as putting up some children at play signs.
Possibly.
I don't know.
But it
I
is, it is.
I just keep monitoring and just send the
Yeah.
information. to
Dead
the
end
PD,
road,
and
yeah.
the thing is, it comes down to enforcement, right?
But that's what I don't
Because
understand.
because it's listed as no excavated at the entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's an average of 50 to 60, they're not breaking the speed limit,
No,
even if it was a 50 zone, it's not excessive.
That's right, that's right.
but you're not racing down that road to get to another road to get somewhere.
Racing home.
But the sign does, the speed sign does prove the point that it's really not
There's no
an issue.
There is no issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have it back there again, so we'll see how this week goes.
Okay.
And we did put it in a different location.
Smoother spot,
Sneaky.
not as many potholes.
I don't know. The New Holland tractor, we had an issue with it. The garage was full, they were waiting for parts, so it was sitting outside and it just got in last week, so it tore apart and put it back together before.
What's our plans for that tractor anyways? Once we get it, are we gonna keep it? Are you?
We'll keep it for this year. And then we'll put it on for sale.
Because you're gonna have your other brusher then, right? So you're not, plus the Daewoo, you don't need 3 brushers.
That's right. But we'll use it this year to get caught up because of the way behind.
Well, it's,
Yeah, that makes
if
sense.
it's not working, it's not worth much to sell. anyways. Because there's a few hours on that tractor anyways.
Not that much, Jack.
No?
A little over 4,000.
Oh, is it? I noticed, is it a wiring problem again or not?
No, actually, the emergency brake,
Breaks. Yeah.
Okay,
something happened to it. It got hot. It melted the seals at it.
okay.
So,
Because before we had lots of wiring problems.
yeah,
At least that's resolved.
yes.
Okay,
Um, 3 of our staff have completed their grader training.
Good.
So we're up and
Thank
running.
goodness.
Up and running. And the instructor was very happy with everyone, the way they worked out, so that's good.
What
We
is
also-
book 7?
Book 7 is your highway traffic control,
Oh, okay,
that there was many changes and you needed an update.
okay.
So we had 4 people attend that, and we also had 48 other attendees from different municipalities come, which was a very good turnout, 2-day session. Good. The 0601 tandem truck, I would like to put in for surplus.
Okay,
Thank you.
is that because we have one less man now, with not working nights?
No, we purchased we finally got a new truck to replace it.
Replacing it.
Yeah, but it's just because we have one less man now, correct? Or do we? still-
Yes, we are short one man, but
Yeah.
we still only need 6 trucks.
Yeah, because of nights.
Yeah.
Not working the town and.
No, that's right. Winter sand has begun. Foy mount is completed in the field. Hopefully within the next 3 weeks, we'll have the rest of the domes filled. The new construction is supposed to start on the 15th of August. And then we're done.
I mean, I think this is great, we're ahead of the curve and all that, but winter sand in August, it's just like, man.
It's the best time.
It should have been, we used to do it in June and July,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the best time to do it.
They used to say time to pick tomatoes when they're ripe. So
That's
time to pick
right,
tomatoes
yeah,
when they're done the
absolutely, yeah.
What's
Nine.
what's the expected finish date for the sand shed then?
If everything goes to plan, they're talking October. So it'll still give us time to get it filled.
So I have a couple questions, Jason.
Yes.
So the first one is, and I've been asked by a couple people that are curious and interested on what's happening at Silver Lake Road with the ditching. Is that just preventative maintenance, or they think there's a big project happening?
So right now, the corner at,
It's in church.
just down
Just
past the Chin
before,
Church,
yeah.
yes. So what we're gonna do there is we want to remove some material,
Okay,
and we're gonna take it up the road past the Chin Church and straighten out that road. way up.
Crimson Maple or on? the-
Just above Crimson Maple, yes, on the
Okay.
left,
So you're not gonna change the slope of the corner though?
not right now. But yes, we will be changing it. So that corner.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Slopes are-
above Crimson Maple?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Crimson Maple, so further up towards. the
Okay.
Tony Gladson's
Yes,
places.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
built his new house.
And yeah, we're gonna change that crossover culvert too, to make it longer. And then that'll be completed there, and then we'll have to change the rest of the pipes around the corner up towards Augsburg, and then hopefully then see what next year brings. Maybe we can do construction on the road,
Okay,
because it is very dangerous.
yes.
It's great from my driveway to the 512.
Yes, it is.
Where they paved it. That's about it.
So, another question or ask that was brought forward to me, and it'll be addressed to both you and Kevin, is out at the Cormac Park, there's some stumps.
Yes.
And I've had a fella who had another neighbor and himself and his, somebody else, when they go to turn in there and they turn to one direction, they've seen a few people getting pulled off the stumps, and the one neighbor had actually hit it because they said they can't see it. Is there a way we could get those stumps removed from the Cormac Park?
Cut them off the
If
ground
it's
level.
possible, either chainsaw them off or backhoe them out, however you guys decide to remove them. They said just before, because they said even in the event of a power outage, they go in there at night, and use the bathroom and everything else, right, the local people. So just to kind of keep them from getting hung up or whatever it may be on
And
the
we've had
stumps.
that problem with
So-
other stumps on that property, so, yeah.
If that's possible, if it's okay with council to get Jason to work with Kevin and get those out of there somehow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. That was,
I guess,
Murph?
Yeah, if Jason finishes his report, I'm just not gonna ask for him, give you a heads up someday when you get a minute. Take a drive down Belina Way
Yes.
off of Huffman Road,
Yes,
and where it does a 90-degree turn and goes to the subdivision, you will see a 66-foot right of way straight ahead. It's brushed, it's grubbed, and it goes up on the south side of the railroad track to where the duck pond is, and crosses the railroad track and heads up that point. Something, in my just gut feel, something big's gonna happen there, because you're not gonna spend 1.75 million on a property and then spend this money on a road just to sit there and roast marshmallows up at the point, and it's gonna impact Huffman Road. Whatever the plans are, we'll know when we get the request for building permits. But there's something, the nature of the road and whatnot, there's no messing around. It's just take a drive up.
okay, I'll do that.
thanks. Jay, any further word from the county about cutting back the guardrail?
I have not heard anymore.
I was talking last week and in hallways and everything, we're gonna have a site meeting once, and I kind of said it needs to be sooner than later.
Thank you.
And I haven't heard nothing as of yet.
Yes, because they're reaching out a lot. And I know that it's sort of a project between the two of you, so I didn't know who to ask, but that's, okay. Thank you.
Questions?
I'm good. Thank you. Everybody else good?
Right there.
Have a good day.
You're free of the hot seat. Kevin, come on up.
Very soft fumes.
Good, yourself, Kevin?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, from my recreation report, from the arena side, general maintenance, our golf tournament was on last Friday. Very nice, hot, was a hot day. We had everybody attended, had lots of fun. Could have been bigger, absolutely, and tents was lower, but anybody was there, had lots of fun. So that's,
I'm still sporting my sunburn.
I'm sure there's a few people.
Man,
Our gun show is the 20th, and They'll be starting to set up next week.
And it is not just the gun show this year.
That is correct. That
There
correct.
is now a ladies' Kit Kat lounge in the Eagle's Nest. And they're bringing in, whoever does the e-bike rentals, they're bringing them in as well. So there'll be other things at the gun show.
So you're talking about winter sand, Jen, but we're talking ice scheduling meetings already, so hockey's around the corner and anyways, we're getting everything prepared for the upcoming season. Reached out our blade shop, previous company is no longer going to be there, so I reached out to a local person, see if there's interest. He hasn't got back to me yet, but hopefully there is. Hopefully there is.
What was left? I mean, obviously the little buildings there. Was there any other infrastructure left or?
No,
Okay,
they had all their, like their straight sharpening and other tools and that in there. but
Okay.
It's an empty building. They left the stands and everything there and it's anybody that comes in, it's already kind of pre-ready.
Yeah. Bring your own equipment.
That's correct, yeah. Centennial Park. We're still having some vandalism. We're getting the cameras moved tomorrow though. The one changed directions, hopefully we can pick up the gazebo. The village pretty much stayed the same. The fountain has been put in, so good. Legion Field, you saw the pictures of the work that we've done. Was in the budget, and two of those park benches were donated from the clothing bank from previous fundraiser from the splash pad. So it was just a matter of getting things done, and getting them in.
very nice.
Taste of the Valley, August 26th. We're kind of setting up. We're just waiting for direction from the county on what we need to for lines and that.
Not to put you on the spot here, but back to Legion Field, how are we faring it with the shed for the soccer stuff?
Oh, it's there.
Oh, it is,
Is there?
okay, oh, I didn't see the picture
Yeah.
or nothing of it.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
I was just wanted to see, I didn't know if we got it yet or
I
not.
didn't
That was my
either.
question.
I guess that was in my previous, in my June, I took pictures of it.
Yes.
No, we.
Oh, okay, so that was already on, because I seen the pictures of it. Was that on site already at that time?
No, that was.
Okay,
that was
okay,
a-
no, okay.
No, no,
that-
so it is on site.
Okay,
I think I got it, I think we just got it there before the last week.
okay,
Yeah,
of soccer.
it made it for the last of the soccer.
Yeah.
It was there for the
Oh.
big event that
Okay.
day and stuff. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, the week prior to that, they canceled because it was so hot, so, but it is there.
So hopefully that'll help with getting a new community.
Oh, yeah, like Paul's kind of got it set up there now.
So-
I'll be happy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's
That's
good.
great. I'm gonna drive by on my way home.
Yeah,
One other quick, on the splash pad, you said turned down the water flow. So what you do, just put restrictions in?
there was a
Some of the
couple
jets?
of the ones in the concrete floor, they're called geysers. We shut those off. And there's a couple other ones we turned down,
So you didn't put restrictions, you just turned down. the
just turned them
water
down, yeah.
And Daryl's happy with that? Good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see anything in your report about it, so I just
Yeah.
wanted to make
So
sure.
flow. Did you have much complaints from any of the people using it?
I didn't hear any, so
Didn't hear anything?
I think that's the bonus.
Well, and with the heat that we've had, we probably would have had a lot of complaints if we had shut it off for 2 hours, but you do what you have to do. But I think that this was a good compromise, as long as Daryl's happy with it. Okay.
And the changes, like I've been talking, the changes we've made, we saw the usage per day.
You saw it in the water being used. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry about that, Kevin. So back to the Taste of the Valley.
Okay, just a taste of the valley. We're just waiting for direction. We have to line the field. Each vendor has a 10 by 10 square. So then, since we're the host, I'm not sure what the numbers are going to be. Our summer students will do traffic control to accommodate the public. So I don't know the numbers as of yet. we've got a bit of time yet.
I see there's a pretty good vendor list already on the. On it, okay.
Yeah, it'll really probably.
Yes, that's monthly, yeah.
It's fantastic.
I'll move on to Dana's report.
Oh, I just wanted to say something about McCray, if I may.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear that the paving done by BEI was paid for by Dave Kruger. Dave had his own parking lot done and very kindly donated the remainder of the pavement to make the washroom accessible.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so just,
Well, that's great.
I know, right?
Yeah, perfect. I got a question for you. I got a call from some people in Point Out. I touched base with Dana about it. Apparently, the ATV trail now goes right through the hamlet of Point Out. And it's on their website. I know Dana was gonna look into it. I don't know if she's gotten anywhere or not, but I'm surprised they would put a trail through a hamlet without even touching base with us. So, because I looked at, you can go on their website and it shows the green amateur trail going right through and making a circle around Foyman. And a lot of people are concerned with ATVs driving around, right, for really no reason. You're just making a loop and coming back down. So,
That's odd.
well, it's on their website already. Dana and I were looking at
We've
it.
never heard of this before.
Well, it's just probably just something, they were never in there until this year. Then the people started to complain to me, there's lots of people with ATVs, what's going on? And then I was talking to Dana and we looked into it, and it's actually on their website as part of their trail, going through the hamlet of Foyman,
Well, then
which to me is,
people would be using that.
well, that's what I mean, because
Website.
it's on their website, but to me, it's just,
What was the old route before though?
I don't know what the old route was, but if they would have been using it before, people would be up there, so. So I'm just wondering, maybe you can touch base with Dana, because I brought it up with her and she was gonna look into it. I would just suspect if they're going to do that, they should touch base with the township first, I would hope.
Very odd.
Annette?
So I just want to be clear that the legislation changed and we brought forward the legislation in the bylaw to council and council approved it. So the ATVs are allowed on any of our roads. So if we wanted to prevent that, then we would have to change our bylaw and say they are not to be going through the hamlet of Point Out.
So I think Jack's ask is the actual route that's on the map, maybe that.
Be removed from
But
their
we-
website.
Wow.
I don't know if we can, because it is
It is,
it's an allowed vehicle. It's like saying we can't have green cars on this road either. It's
just,
basically their route.
like I said, maybe there's nothing we can do.
It would have been nice if they would have approached maybe us and said, look, hey, this is what we're considering, but they kind of asked for,
But is it
Forgiveness
a,
rather than
noise,
permission.
is it a noise complaint from the
Well, it's
ATVs or
noise
is it
and
speed?
ATVs driving around and with kids running, there's more kids up there playing around, right?
But
So,
we can prevent that from happening or not. Like if you do a rural ramble, let's say,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That they put the route on the website, nobody,
that's right.
they're permitted there. So they don't need to ask us to create that situation because we passed a bylaw saying we're happy to have them there. Now, we
yeah.
can change that, but I agree with you. It would have been nice to have notification to ourselves and, even
Yeah.
something
then I think,
so that the residents there knew ahead of time this was coming before it came. So, I mean, I think we can definitely in our meeting, maybe with the ATV, I don't know if it's the same club,
Yeah.
maybe just have a quick conversation to say there's been some complaints. Is there anything we can do? Maybe,
But I do know a lot of, I do know residents personally that have ATVs that leave from their house and go beyond, so
It's no
we
different
can't
than
restrict
seeing
them
ATV.
for using it,
It's
you know,
no
same
different
from
than
the shoot.
ATVs in town here. right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
That's anywhere.
But we did that by design. We passed that
Yeah.
bylaw.
Yeah.
So that if you were on a provincial road, a county road, or a municipal road,
Yeah.
the rules were different because some people don't even realize, like if you're on 512, maybe they don't realize that's a county road, not a municipal road. So I think that we did that to reduce confusion about the use of ATVs. I think what I'm concerned about is that the ATV club actually put this as a route on their website, and is that maybe something that we could just say, obviously ATVs are allowed in the hamlet, but maybe don't put it as a,
We can definitely have that conversation with Jason and I are meeting them with some of the others, other conversation. We can definitely have a little chat with them. I mean, I've seen them a lot around too, even in Renford, like just driving down Renford,
Yeah.
there's just, it
Yeah.
seems to be
The trail, yeah.
and it's permitted, I'm not,
Yeah.
but it, yeah, reach out to the club and say, you know, there's been a little bit of,
Just a concern.
you know, a
Yeah.
concern, so is there anything we can do? And maybe
Yeah.
they have an easy answer for us.
Yeah, like they have it coming up the old Cully Mountain, then it goes around, wraps around, then it goes down to Opiongo and then goes out to
Well,
Lake
and
Tahoe.
that's,
So like, to me, it's not really an issue. I have no problem with it. It just would have been nice if we would have been included that they're going through a hamlet, that's all.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I told the individuals, you know, they're allowed on the road. You really can't prevent them, but well, it'd be nice to know because the traffic's really increased.
but as Annette said, her and Jason are meeting with it, so the thing is even if we can help support or facilitate, hey, there could be a local, another route that they could take as well, that they can advertise, be like, hey, this is the leisurely trail down the road. and-
But the thing is, I know a lot of the clubs too, they have a lot of fundraisers and stuff too, so they have their rides for dad, they have their other this, that, or whatever it may be, you know, and they have their routes known ahead of time, and like I say, we always ask people to use courtesy and common sense with any vehicle, and we just try and extend that, you know, to either it be the car world, the truck world, or the ATV world. It's you know, snowmobiles are the same, right? So people have to, you know,
Yeah, like I
be
said,
respectful,
Like-
be respectful of one another, and that's all we ask everyone to do.
And maybe we should have a share the road sign up there if that's gonna be on their route. Anyway, we'll have a little
Yeah.
chat with them and see,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Jason too,
Like-
and,
like I said, I have no problem with it, no issue with it. It just would have been nice to know instead of just getting called to what's going on.
Well, new legislation from us.
yeah, because you wouldn't have known what was going on.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They dig it out, and neither did Dana know, and then they were digging it out and she says, whoa, just hang on, there's a green path all the way around.
Okay,
Oh, well.
okay.
that was good, yeah.
Thanks.
Back to
We
you,
have a
Kevin.
remedy.
The Curly Run projects, there's a tentative date, mid of the month, so we're just waiting, we're not there yet, but let's cross our fingers. There's some activity there. Move on the Dana's report. Community development group is having a meeting. The fishing dock and other. It's good, and it's in too, it's in, so it's, they're doing some work there today, so,
Are they working on the fence today?
there's work down there.
Working on it.
Yeah, so the last part of the project is the fence to delineate the private property from the property that we're leasing. Of course, the dock's in and it is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what I was thinking when they said a fishing dock, but it has far exceeded any expectation I have. And I think it would be beautiful also for wedding photos. It's just so pretty there. But they are, to Jack's point at the meeting, they are putting up a farm fence and doing some landscaping and ensuring that it can be wheelchair accessible. The actual dock is wheelchair accessible, but it was getting to that ramp that was an issue, but many thanks to our dock master, Willis Bowman, and Brian Weckworth and his whole team. They worked like crazy on that. And again, Dave Kruger helped out, but it also was built in his storage facility in Pembroke and flat bedded down. And so a
Fantastic job.
lot of work has been done, yeah.
Looks good.
Really good, yeah.
Music in the park,
Music at the Eagle's Nest.
it's a fair bit every Wednesday night.
I know, I opened up my Facebook,
Hey.
music in the park has been moved.
It's helping us, Jack. If they keep playing the music, maybe we get more rain.
Maybe, maybe.
Yeah, we've had her.
And one Wednesday, it didn't even rain.
Yeah, and it was so hot that day.
Yes,
We went
yeah.
there because the humidity was just, yeah, so tomorrow night looks good. The Sandcastle contest is going to the end of August 31st.
Oh, hang on, you didn't buy the tourism strategy.
Right,
Sorry, so Brain Trust, who is the consultant that we're working with for tourism strategy, He presented to the EACBG last Wednesday. Very interesting. He's got a very tight timeline and he will be coming back to meet the council, I guess, in wherever the council is in December. But it's very interesting, the changing in verbiage about how to boost tourism post-pandemic. Thank you.
Great. The Sound Castles, end of the month. The Veterans Memorial Banner, they're having a meeting for that.
They're actually going to meet with the Barry's Bay Legion to see how they did that, because we believe that each banner was purchased by the family members. But so as not to reinvent the wheel, this subcommittee was going to meet with some people from the Barry's Bay Legion.
Thanks, Jim. Kindness Rock Garden, just a person sent out a little picture.
I think it's
An idea,
adorable.
like, you know,
I think that it would be a great thing for one of or both of the schools to do. You know, maybe put it near the playground, teaching kids, you know, kindness and sharing. But I thought, you know, if school kids wanted to paint the little rocks, we could probably provide a sign and a post, but maybe something to send back to EDPS in St. James.
That or I'd send it to the library as well. Maybe they got a partnership with the Catch a Star daycare as well, so.
That's a good
That's,
idea,
uh,
catch a
so
star.
Just forward it to the head librarian, I guess. And they can discuss it.
Actually, Brent, it could actually go at the library.
Yeah, it's up to the board,
Yeah, no, but that
board and the library.
that might be a nice,
Well, it's
venue for it.
just partnership. I don't think we need it, but no, I think between the two organizations, they could be a potential.
and we submitted an application for playground, the equipment. Some funding from it.
any ETA on that equipment?
Not till 2023, that I know for a fact. That's, yeah. Unless something changes in the playground chain, they find.
You make it sound like it's some underground black market for playgrounds.
Everything is these days. It's just, yeah.
I ordered the part for my ATV delivery in November.
I guess beforehand though, do we have all our prep work done for like when for the Four Park? Because I remember in budget, I thought that was the main project up at Four was to fix up all the old gravel, the asphalt, concrete,
And
old steel packs and just get it all like landscape nice because we knew it wasn't gonna come until.
Yeah,
2023.
that has not been done yet,
Okay.
but I was talking to Jason, we'll look into, like, you know, once things kind of the fall and it's you start
Well-
disturbing.
Once you know an ATA, then
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Well, even then, because I think that if I remember the intentions from the budget was more just to make sure it's like a nice area for the kids to play with. I know we have adequate room up there, but. that's-
actually, the playgrounds are up in the old Foynon Park is actually it's a big site, number one.
Yep.
And there's lots of sand there already. So it's just a matter of excavation. And once the equipment's there, put it in, we backfill it. It's actually, that's preparation for the actual
Well, I
play
think,
structure.
no, I agree, but I think it was on the right-hand side where all the old asphalt was, right?
Yes,
So that was
yeah.
the more the, I thought that
clean
was
up.
the focus of ours.
Yeah,
There was the.
yeah.
make it pretty at least
Yeah.
for playing.
Because
Leading.
we already knew a play structure was unfeasible this
Oh,
year.
yeah, yeah.
It's common sense and everyone knows play structures, they wanted to deliver it.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
we
yeah.
aren't gonna get one. But no. so
No, the.
That's all. It's
that
as long
cleanup
as we
work.
have an ETA and it gets done before the fall, then people can actually utilize it, that'd be good.
I guess, well, all the zoning bylaws that you're quite aware of the changes, so there's no need of going through at all. So that is the end of my report. Any questions?
Thanks, Kevin.
I just had one thing. So our Bonashir Youth Action Committee, we were spitballing some ideas for the fall to use the youth center for. So they were thinking, say, once a week, somebody puts on a class, and I think the one that I really thought was very interesting was learning how to deal with finances. So I don't know that even the high schoolers are getting enough, how do you manage your bank account? How do you manage your spending? That kind of thing. But there's been lots of interest and lots of different ideas, even a cooking class one week, or, or even bringing in somebody, and I'll pick on you, Brent, bringing in somebody that owns a business about being an entrepreneur. What does it mean to drive a truck? What is the
Just
investment?
forget about sleeping.
Yeah. Don't tell them that, Tim.
Just forget about sleeping. Just don't sleep no more.
But I think what they were
I'm
thinking.
25 years old.
You look great for 25.
Thanks.
Tim's like, yeah, this is 25.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But no, but I think that, we know that we have a severe labor shortage right now. We know that kids are not necessarily going into the trades. They don't necessarily know what they want to do. And would it be, some mentorship with some of our local people that do different things like building or auto mechanics or even running a dam or driving a truck. So that was the idea. So just once a week, and there would be a schedule of events, and it would go out to the schools.
Did they have a start like in the fall, you said?
No, I needed permission from you guys first. That, like, what they were looking for was to start as school starts, like start sending out these, getting volunteers for each whatever day, Wednesday or whatever it's gonna be, and putting together a schedule, and then sending it out to the schools. And Okiello, of course.
Well, I think on my end, it's just, I think Kevin runs the recreation department, and I'm fine with it, like we've said the last year or two, whatever it's to utilize. If the classrooms want to rent or use the space up there when they take the kids to the splash pad, that's fine with me.
And these would be no charge. Like, this is sort of a community, how do we, how do you grow Christmas trees, Merv?
Well, no one utilizes it, so how does it get utilized?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Right? So-
Anyway, and if they had 2 people, 2 days a week, I don't know how many volunteers we'll get, but the amount of ideas we put together in about 20 minutes was incredible. Yeah.
So basically what they'll need is some tables and chairs, that
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I don't think you'd have to do much up there. And if it's already cleaned.
Yeah.
It's ready for use. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Keep in touch if they need a trucker to come up and.
Would you actually do
Oh, yeah,
that?
I'd do that for a
Okay.
half an hour, an
Would you
hour.
bring the truck?
Bring the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Bring the
I'd
truck,
bring
yeah.
the truck.
The problem is they have to be 25.
Well, if you
But
trust-
basically your ask is kind of like the way high school was when I was there. We had all kinds of,
Like a career fair.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of things like that happening at the school at that point in time.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool back then.
But I don't think there's a lot of that. And of course, they haven't even been to school for the last couple of years. So would this get even more interest? When Dave and I first opened the shop, once a month, we would have, or I'm sorry, once every 3 months, we would have a seminar specifically for women. We're not expecting you to change your own oil, but you should know the difference between what a good brake pad looks like and what a bad brake pad looks like, right? And they were very, very well attended. I think one of them, we had like 50 women. It was really overwhelming. And I think stuff like that, it never hurts to have a little bit of knowledge, just so you're educated when you take your car in, or what it might be like to be an entrepreneur or own your own business, the investment, you know.
Let's be honest, if Tim brings his truck, they aren't coming to hear Tim, they're just coming to see the truck.
I know.
Like, I'll bring my kids just to go play on his log truck. Like, let's be honest, we might as well bring a couple other log trucks.
I
Like,
know.
Tim can do his skill,
I'll
but like
never
the
be
kids
as
are coming
famous
for the
as my
truck.
Western Star.
Yeah.
No.
Brent's right though. So
That's
what
true.
Tracy Sanderson said, do you think somebody from the fire department would do a seminar on being a volunteer firefighter? And I sort of said the same thing.
Well,
It's
to
be
all
all
about the big
attention.
shiny
To
red
be
truck.
honest, like Stanley's favorite book is an it's got excavators in it, it's got log trucks in it, it's got everything township owns, like, you can go do, if you wanna get the kids out, send all the big trucks up there, so.
One thing I forgot to mention too, I put an ad in the paper for part-time help for the winter time here to start going
Yeah.
on that because it's
Because you're actually doing stuff now.
it's gonna get busy.
So one thing, and not to kind of throw this in at you, Kevin, in other municipalities and when they are getting proactive, other municipalities are trying to be proactive with the swim program. Had we had any luck at all, or was there any inquired? They've been doing kind of incentives and trying to get swimming instructors on the go, and because did we have any applications at all this year? There's none. And that's what I was very afraid of for the last 2 years in not having a swim program being,
What's the
active.
age for a lifeguard generally? Like,
15 for an
when-
assistant and 16 for a lifeguard.
So why wouldn't we just reach out to the local high schools and just be like, hey, is there any of the students that want to sign up for the program? As long as you finish the program completed, then we'll hire you for the summer. Like, why can't we do something like that?
We definitely have to come up with something
I
to
agree. You have to
get them
you have to
going
get proactive.
because
People don't want to sit at home, do nothing, like, but the thing is like, I have no problem finding the training or whatever, if you have guaranteed student coming next year. it's fine.
So do we know if there's locally somewhere that teaches NLS and?
So back in the day, Petawawa was the place that where they did everybody went to Petawawa to learn.
Okay.
I don't know if they did it in the pool or not, Kevin. Did we have any people from the pool? Because I know my kids were on the way at that time for Petawawa and they went extensively.
Yeah. The Pembroke, I would think.
But, and I did hear, and I think we discussed with Red Cross not being affiliated with a lot of the stuff right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any kind of, alternate, but we definitely have to look for something because there was a big interest in kids participating for the last few years up until, 2019. It's a life skill.
Oh,
It's public
It's an
safety, it's
important life skill.
extreme, so I think it should be very high on
And I
the
was gonna
radar.
say, I don't mean to put on the spot there, Kevin, it wasn't on it, but I guess, were any of the other lake associations or lakes, did they put on lifeguards this year or no? Didn't have any, like swim lessons?
We reached out to the Cottage Association to see if they had any lifeguards.
Yeah.
And we actually had names given to us from another township because they only had one lifeguard.
Yep.
And we took that, we received that name and I made a phone call and that individual stayed where she was going to school for a summer job. So, which in turn, we didn't have anybody that time.
No, but
And-
whereas more getting at is if we work in collaboration with the lake associations, then maybe if we're able to find capacity to maybe a couple of high school students, where to be able to train them for going to next year.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
guess that's more the approach I'm taking,
Okay.
is then share them within the associations to make sure you get that 44 hours of work a week, right?
Mhm.
Is what were the swim instructors previously hours? Like 20 hours, we probably give them, or?
Yeah, they'd be about 30.
And that's the
30
thing, is
hours
it's like most of the summer
Yeah.
students, they need that 44 hours to hit their tuition,
Yeah.
right? So the thing is, if we can work with that associate, or even ourselves, we just plan to be like, you know what, 44, this is what we're doing, or 40, we just said,
But
so we can be more competitive.
one thing we have to realize, everybody, is with the lack of a swim program locally, you're also losing out on the potential for future instructors.
Mhm.
And that's it's a double loss, right? Because if you don't have your youth training up to the point to become instructors, we're getting into the gap. It's like a shortage of everybody else. Now we're not gonna have anybody qualified because you have to certify every year at a certain level in order to progress to become a lifeguard. It's not just a matter of you jumping in the pool saying, I can do this, you have to progress, and it takes years and years and years to do so. And if you have a 2-year gap in your local people to choose from, we're gonna be into another serious situation where we're not gonna be able to get anybody.
Well, and I mean, I specifically took swimming lessons to become a lifeguard and a swim instructor. And it was good money when I was doing, like, it's, you know, it's a good job, and I don't disagree with Brent. I think there's gotta be some sort of hour
Continuity.
incentive, like it's gotta be a
We-
full-time
So
job.
I guess
Absolutely.
my request would be, maybe Kevin, you talk to Ned or whatever, you guys kind of come up with a strategy going for the September meeting that we can like move forward with, so you talk to like associates, whatever, and like, I think that's like a month away, so we adequate time to figure something.
We already have a strategy in place, so we've already had discussions with the high schools and their co-op program.
Yeah.
The issue is busing and getting it to the different pools, so there may be a cost component for the municipality for that. The lake associations and also Camp Lutherland and other townships being Whitewater, we've just had discussions with all of them to share lifeguards this summer. None of us could come up with lifeguards even to share.
No,
That's how short we are. So
Amazing.
we do already have that plan in place. So I think step one is to deal with the schools and figure out how can we get these kids trained? And what do they need from us to make that happen?
Yeah.
And then working in partnership, like you said, with the lake associations, with the camps, with other municipalities to get the busing going, to get it moving forward so that we have a pool to choose from. And then, yes, having incentives so we can share them. So I think we've already reached out to most of those organizations to work together.
Mhm.
So Kevin and I are just waiting for school to get back in to have further conversations with, with the high schools, because that's where we want to start with,
100%.
and then go from there. So absolutely, it's already high on our agenda, and we've made some contacts moving forward. I had the schools, the co-op programs for Renfrew County came and did a presentation at my Renfrew County Clerks and Treasurers Association, because that is municipal going forward. We want kids coming in and working with us, co-op or paid. And there's nothing that stops you from paying a co-op student.
absolutely. So here's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Because I recently went through, getting my kid certified, right? It's not cheap because we had to drive him to Petawawa, Trina, to drive him to Petawawa. I believe it was twice a week for, 2 years, basically, or, for over the course of a lot of time just to get the certification. So I would be in support of, definitely providing compensation for that skill if we can get somebody in the community to,
So we're not limited to pools, right? You can take your NLS in a lake.
well, and the thing is,
In a river.
you have to, if you're in a lake, you have to certify in it, or in natural waters. Pool is different then.
That's right.
So,
We're centrally located. We could host our own program if we had somebody to teach these kids.
but what I'm saying is we have to
Yeah.
come up with a way to provide compensation in order to
Yes.
attract them. And that's the biggest hurdle we're at, right? Because if we just offer them, less than what everybody else is, or not less, but we have to come up with a solution to keep them here.
That's hurdle number 2. Hurdle number 1 is finding the people.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and providing the training. So when I have numbers, I don't know if I'll have them for the first meeting in September, because, schools are.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for numbers and what do they need from us to run this type of program? And so and I did already have a discussion with them, so we'll open it back up, that they should be open in a couple weeks. And hopefully we'll be able to come forward to council in September with some it might not be the first meeting in September, but with some ideas on how to support training. And then incentives will definitely come probably in the spring, or who are we working with, and what can we give these
Well, and
kids?
another incentive is you'll have a job next summer.
That's right, absolutely.
And a beautiful beach. For the summer,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, sorry about the sidetracking there, Kevin. I just, it was
We had a lot on our minds today.
Yes.
It's a month's worth, eh? Are you trying to leave the chair?
Yeah, he's retired.
They're all folding. I know, nobody's seen him even leave, eh? He's gone and out the door.
Daryl's just prepping those shoulders and the shrug.
Which one?
So anyway, with that being said, Kevin, was there any other questions for Kevin?
No,
Thank you.
Kevin.
Have a
You
good
did
day.
well, Chubb, you did well. Good afternoon, Darrell.
Hi, Daryl.
Thanks.
I have a great sense of relief now about the splash pad,
You're right, good.
and I hope you do.
It just took a little bit of thinking and
Little finesse.
little finesse, that's right. So it's been good ever since. We made those changes and I made a few changes in the plant and it all seemed to work out.
You know, it's funny, CTV phoned me to do an interview, and I said, well, there's nothing really to report right now, because, like, and they were coming off Debbie's article, of course, in the Leader. And I said, because we're monitoring and we're mitigating some of the things, and we'll know better in August, but they wanted to do an article anyway. That's what a great journalist apparently Debbie is.
So,
I'm just glad that I called Daryl and spoke with him, and then I knew that things are going good, right, Daryl?
That's right.
so the question I have now, Darrell, is what are capacities? Because with this issue brought forth the fact that our plant was approaching near capacity with our splash pad running. So what does that mean to the rest of the community?
Well, we did some figuring. It didn't affect the rest of them. I don't know, there was things said that there was pressure drops and that. There's
I
no
don't know
way
where
there's
you got
pressure
that.
drops. No one ever said anything to me here. Or anything like that, because it never got low enough for that pressure drop. Because I won't let the tower get down.
I think the misunderstanding was that what we said and what Debbie reported was that it was putting pressure on the system. And I'm getting a nod, so I know I'm right. And I think they took that as there were pressure problems in the house. But sorry, I digress. I just wanted to explain that because I wasn't even sure where they got that. Sorry.
So
Oh, good.
Yeah, go ahead. I read your consumption report.
Yeah.
So currently, right now, you're saying we're sitting at about 550 users.
yes,
And with our current system as it's set up to run right now, we could add another 100 users to it. That's what, and 14 commercial restaurants or 7 retirement homes. So if I'm reading this correctly, that means 100 users plus 7 retirement homes.
the way we calculated it, yes.
So we could put on 100 more users and 7 retirement homes before we'd be in jeopardy of, so that then would be maxed out. Is that where we'd be? Totally maxed on our system? Or very close, or?
Yeah, we probably would be, but where are we gonna get 7 retirement?
No, I'm just, no, I just want to get a feeling for it.
He
So
speaks the truth.
I just want to get a feeling for it. So if you're saying 7 retirement homes, so retirement home equates, how many houses equates to a retirement home? In your estimation?
Depending on the size, I would say.
Well, that's like,
So Fairfield's,
sorry,
Fairfields.
Fairfield?
Fairfield's about the same as 20 to 25 homes.
So if you're talking 20 homes, so you're talking then realistically, we could add 250, approximately 250 homes to our, because if I take 25 times 7 and plus
Plus
100,
the 100.
so that's 250 users we could add to our system then, before we're stressed. I just want to get a feel of where we are for development. That's all I want to know there, before we're, because there's been all sorts of talk of water running to other places that we were going to feed within, so I'm just wondering where we're at. So,
Because the biggest question is, Daryl, and I think Jack's on the same page as me, if our splash pad brought us to the point of where we were low on potable water, that is that splash pad anywhere near the capacity of 100 more users plus
250.
200 or plus the other retirement homes? Because that doesn't seem like that math is, I'm not trying to doubt you, but
The splash pad is about the equivalent to 3 retirement homes, the way we figured it. Something else went on up there.
Yeah, because something doesn't make
no,
sense.
that's what I'm trying to get the
Something
gist
that's
of.
not-
Be-
I agree with you.
Because. No,
Oh,
It's like these, I've seen them.
yeah,
Oh,
because,
yeah, but something went on there. for
because it
4
doesn't,
days.
it doesn't make sense. If basically what we were saying here, we could put in 250 more homes on our system. If we got rid of the retirement homes. Because you're saying there's 20, 25 per retirement, 7 homes, is that what? I'm just gonna get the math right here.
Yeah. that's-
7 homes gives you
Even though on the
150,
low end.
yeah, 150 plus another 100 homes, that's 250 homes. So something
Yeah, because
something definitely went awry if that splash pad was
consuming 250.
250.
Exactly.
Because I just want to know where we're at, because with all the development, I don't want to be all of a sudden, okay, we got all this development going on. Oh, now our water capacity doesn't have it.
I just want to address something that you brought up though, Jack. Extending water into a neighboring municipality.
Well, I'm just saying there's been talk.
Yeah, no, but there's an MOU in place, and that MOU says that they would be responsible for all infrastructure and any upgrades required to the Eganville drinking water system. So, I mean, we would have to jump off that bridge when we get to it.
But that really wouldn't benefit the residents of Bonaire Valley if they're still upgrading to the next point.
Yeah.
You know, it's just gonna up, the only benefit that would have is to the user outside of the municipality.
And
Because we've already got,
extra development here sort of just means we're on a steady.
I'm all for extra development in
Yeah.
Bonaire Valley. What I'm saying is with that had taken place, I don't know if we've got room to go beyond with that capacity being reached with the splash pad. Because it doesn't, there's math that isn't adding up in this whole equation here.
Well, and even when Gerald came last month, I thought, I'm not gonna ask the question. You and Kevin said that you were going to go and monitor the situation and mitigate where you needed to. And I thought, I wonder if something else happened up there.
But
I don't, not necessarily up there, could have been any place,
True.
but the
something
numbers,
happened on your
the
system.
numbers didn't match up.
Would it be something as simple as not necessarily the numbers yourself, not necessarily the water? Could your numbers in your system be, shouldn't?
Geez, they better not be.
Well, no, I'm just saying, Darrell,
But that's because my meters are calibrated. It
Yeah, all
tells
the
me your-
time, yeah.
Yeah,
Because there has to be something that happened somewhere that
Yeah.
caused that. And realistically, we should be spending time to get to the bottom of it, to know where it is. Because if it happens again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We should try to,
Was it something like one of the dead end hydrants that somebody tampered with? Who knows?
you have no way,
We
you have
we
no
go
way of
around and
monitoring
never
that?
seen anything?
Yeah.
No, I have no way of.
Monitoring that. The consumption on the dead end line.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were talking, don't forget, we were talking, we don't know if it's gonna happen, but if this business in Foymount, we were gonna supply water for them as well, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanna make sure that we're on a path here where we're not coming to a point
We're
where,
coming to the end.
yeah,
The other problem with expanding, like, our lines in the ground are gonna be something that has to be looked at also. So if we get a lot of building over there, well, then those lines going that way are gonna have to be
upgraded.
upgraded. So there's always gonna be upgrades of some sort.
Yeah.
But are we gonna have to upgrade inside the plant is,
Well,
should be 20 years down the road.
Well, well, now we have a number, 250 homes.
Yeah.
So we know right now we're at 550. because doing your math roughly works out to 250, so we're at 550 now. So you're talking 800 homes before you're really in jeopardy up the plant.
Maxing it out.
Yeah,
Residential.
yeah, residential.
So
Residential,
a
yeah.
few commercials would make a big difference though too.
Yeah, but
So-
they're 20 to 20, so you know. Because let's be realistic, there's gonna be a lot more quicker, you're gonna get buildings, houses, than you're gonna get 14 or 7 retirement homes, you know what I mean? And then to get another, what did you say? How many restaurants? 14 new commercial restaurants?
So we
I
just,
don't-
we just took. the
Where are we
average
putting
of what we
14
have.
Well, I don't see that happening, I see homes coming.
No, it's just that kind of raised some bells when
Yep.
that all took place last month, and I believe, you know, and there have been questions out there of what and how, and, you know, we've got development going on, which we are completely capable of addressing and keeping up with their needs, but it looked like there wasn't enough for some of the other requests,
Right.
you know, going beyond that were there. And one other question, Daryl, so if we do add more users up to that point, is there a benefit to the other users that are already on it there, or is it just a matter of keeping status quo?
Well, I mean, if we had enough increase, quickly enough, we definitely should be somewhat of a benefit. But if it's just slowly comes in, it's, you know, it's not gonna benefit that
Yeah,
much. right? It's not
And
gonna-
if you, like you touched on earlier, if you have a huge increase, you're gonna have to increase your main lines anyways.
That's right.
So that there's whatever marginal benefit you see, it's gonna have to go back into the infrastructure.
Put in the ground.
Peter and Paul?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
But I think what you said, Jack, shines a light kind of on our municipality in the sense that we do need more water and sewer users and stuff. And we do have a pretty good capacity, like what Daryl put in his report there. And
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to get to. the
Oh,
bottom.
it's a huge competitive advantage we have. We have the capacity right now.
So if we suspect it was a dead end hydrant, would that not have made substantial water or something that would have been noticeable for that amount of water?
But we had the meter up at the splash pad to let us know what it was,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you were able to,
But we didn't have the individual dates. If we can't see the individual dates, like, yes, he was up, I think 300 cubic meters from the month before, but 300 is only giving us 30 a day.
Yeah, and that wouldn't come close to impact. So it had to be going.
So something just was totally off. I'm still not figured out.
Yeah, I just think maybe we should try and spend a little bit of time trying to troubleshoot it and analyze, because it's something that you don't want popping up.
No,
You know what I mean?
no, that's right.
Because if it's something as simple as a dead end hydrant, we should address that situation, whatever we have to do to make sure it can't be opened.
I was
You know,
gonna
I
say,
say that, but
But
then
it could be.
no one ever said anything, nobody ever reported a hydrant being run.
Yeah.
So,
Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying, if it was something like that, it'd be noticeable, right? And you'd see a sufficient amount of water or evidence of water.
yeah, that's right.
with that volume,
Yeah, because it
absolutely.
was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, and I kind of agree that
Be a
if
big
it
wet
was
spot
a
somewhere.
dead end hydrant that somebody managed to get open, and you had little kids running through it like a sprinkler system, certainly somebody, a neighbor would say
If somebody,
something,
Oh, you would
right?
see, you would see evidence of that with that much
Well,
volume.
that's what I mean. Anyway, I just think we should do it.
Annette?
I just want to make one comment, because when Daryl and I were talking, we talked about the nature of the splash pad too, and how, you put a user on the system, and you know what, water is used a little bit at a time as it goes around, right? So you're taking a shower, you're cooking supper, or whatever, it's not a constant, where the water is constantly being pushed out of the pipe, whereas the splash pad was like full bore, just water coming out as much as it could, right? So it's the nature of the beast, and it's also over a short period of time, right? Like, you and I are using water in a 24-hour period. Well, we're probably sleeping a little bit, you less than me, but you know, whereas at the splash pad, you know, it's a condensed period of time and it's constant. It never ends. And so was it a capacity issue? It was more of a potable water issue where, you know, we had capacity, we have water, but to change it from water to to
But that's
potable
that's
water
still the same
takes-
thing,
That's
is the
still
the
capacity.
potable
Right.
water is the same outcome,
But if
right?
you and I are a user using it, even a restaurant, even Fairfields, if we're using that water, we're using it at a much slower pace, like 3 times less of a slower pace than the splash pad. So the system can catch up, right? Whereas
I
with the
understand.
splash pad, it couldn't. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
sudden usage causes a lot of grief. It's, and like when you turn on a fire hydrant, I can see the sudden, you know, in the trending right away. And then it levels out.
No Taco Tuesday in Bonnechere Valley. Actually,
Because then it's no water Wednesday.
that's right.
Sick of.
So that's,
There.
about it. And I have 2 resolutions. We're doing our QMS audit next Monday, so.
Those fire hydrants aren't cheap.
No. they're
Oh,
very,
really?
Very expensive. Very.
Yeah.
Do you have 3 more of the old ones to replace now after this one?
Yeah, after that,
Because you still have the 3 cast in the ground, eh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't,
Because there was
yeah, I think there's at least 3 more.
Because I was gonna say, when you started as council, I think it was about 5, and then we've been slowly reducing them. Well, that's good. There's less chance of one blowing.
That's right. So we're gonna do that one, there's one up on the back streets, and then we're gonna do one on Main Street.
The roof looks really good though on the, right at the downtown there in your
Oh,
pump
yeah.
station. Yeah, it looks really nice. It'll last another 50 years.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's really good.
Okay, any other questions for Darrell?
Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks,
Okay,
Darryl.
thank you very much, Darrell.
Thank you.
We're gonna do a 5-minute break there, and if that's okay with the rest of the council.
Perfect.
No, can wait. Tim even knows the proper way to do it.
Welcome back, everyone. And welcome to Carol.
All right, thank you. So I did have that, I had nothing in bylaw, but I just received the correspondence today, but I think I'm gonna bring it in with the building department for permitting, because it's on the same line, so. So for animal control, I did attach a information item for livestock guardian dogs. That's something that was brought to me, and I know with that incident we had in Sand Road, I'm not sure if you even know what, you know, this program even exists, but what this letter is basically asking is that if we allow a livestock dog in the township, that we take away the fees for the dog tags and ease up on the bylaws for parking dogs and stuff like that, because that's gonna be their job. So I just thought I'd bring it to your attention, just in case it ever comes back in the future, so you're aware of it now.
And I think waiving the fees if they're a working dog, I mean, we do that for service animals. But I still think that they should have some sort of log with you so that you know
Oh, absolutely.
that dog, right? So even if you waive the fees, you still get a dog tag or something.
Something to keep
Yeah.
track of it, because I'm not exactly sure how many sheep are farmers are in this township.
And you're gonna have less neighbors around if you're hosting sheep or anything anyway.
Oh, there's, I know one on, 512 there has, I think it's alpacas out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, alpacas out there, so.
And they don't bark.
No, and they bite coyotes. Oh, yes,
Well, they're
yes.
vicious, they're like a donkey, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
But I mean, when Paul and Alana Zado had their place on Sand, and they had a lot of sheep,
Mhm.
they had Maremas as their working farm dogs.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with that information.
Okay.
Building, let's see, where am I now? Parking, I've just been monitoring, everything's going great, Jack, don't say anything was strict relation to, we always brings it up. So everything's going well there. Building department, so my monthly building report is attached. And the information for the addresses and all that's in there as well. Building is, I think it's kind of dropping off a little bit. I don't know if it's because of what's going on out there or, but the inspections are picking up because of the ones that were previously issued even from last year, so.
I think we're seeing a slowdown right across the board and everything. I think even in the purchasing of supplies and stuff, I think has dropped considerable, and watching prices, you know, on a downward trend last. I've been really keeping a close eye on the market, so, yeah.
Typically, if it holds to form, but just from my previous experience, in the fall, we'll get another rush. Because everybody's looking summertime.
Before the winter's over,
vacation,
yeah.
Right.
projects that they want to do, kids are back in school, and all of a sudden they want to get it done.
Yeah.
Well, and all the supply companies in construction are all behind, right?
Yeah.
Like talk to most of your concrete forms are only producing 6 inch block, your windows are still 27 weeks.
Yeah.
Trusses, good luck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So like
crazy
unless you
supplies.
have pre-scheduled or you're like actual like involved in the trade, like.
Did you just say 27 weeks for windows?
Yeah, from a really, really common manufacturer, yeah. It depends, like,
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like even some interior doors, like a standard one, you're probably like probably like 4 weeks. And then if you're a special, like a 38-inch for a site accessibility, you're probably 10 weeks about that.
And even just trying to find somebody. It's a
Yeah.
challenge.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't, I know that you keep in touch with your colleagues around the county. Do you guys ever talk numbers like, where are you at, where are you at? Do you know where we fare with
I don't
other
know.
municipalities?
I'm not sure where we're faring out, but we do talk numbers, but I mean, it's something that doesn't come up that often, but
Okay.
it does come up.
I wasn't sure, like, yeah,
I would say, well, I mean,
like
from
if
this
you
year to
meet your
last year.
clubhouse and you go, yeah, we did $1 million this month, and
Yeah, we're only, right now, we're only 24 shy of total of last year, right?
yeah, and
I
it's
still got
August.
a few months. And
Yeah.
I do have some pending. Right now, they're sitting in minor variances
And if
and
you're,
zoning amendments, and so there's just still some sitting there.
and if you're expecting a boom in the fall,
Yeah.
put stuff at least.
Yeah.
If we're on par with last year, we're doing well.
I think we're gonna probably hit the same, maybe exceed a little bit.
Was that for purchases or actual assessment?
It's just assessment.
That's assessment, yeah.
There's a very interesting plenary session at AMO next week about what impacts current value assessment will do to property owners. So I think Annette and I are both gonna plan to go to that one. I think we're in a delegation for part of it, but yeah, we'll try and hit that one because that's been a grave concern. You know, we had that housing boom and people were paying top dollar, way above asking for their homes, or building and paying a lot more to build their homes. And then interest rates went up and then they went up again. So it will be very interesting to see what the new CBA does.
But with that being said, the province is saying we need millions more homes to curb the housing shortage, you know? So.
Well, they're gonna continue to short in this area here, especially like getting better internet, better everything.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I have a lot of friends in Ottawa that they move their families out towards Redford and they're coming out farther because they can work from home and their company's encouraging and paying them to stay at home. So they love areas like this where you're close to lakes, you can go fishing, you go camping, you can go, you raise your kids in a small town and you know your neighbors, it's great. And so I think is like huge housing, there's a huge housing shortage and we need housing and that's what Jack said.
And
250
affordable
units we
housing.
can put on.
We have
I
a
just
huge,
wanted to know where we're at, so.
we have a huge affordable housing issue.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Anything else for Darrell?
Oh, no, I got the, so for in building again, so cloud permitting, which was our purchase before I showed up. I finally did my one day, some training on it. It's an electronic permitting system. This is going to become the norm. There's some people coming to see, they'll be using this system. And it won't allow them to proceed any further without having the correct documentation.
Good question. So are we gonna have a system available for some people? Because some people don't even have systems to get on.
Well, that's why I said there's gonna be a phase-in period, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be lots of educating the public, and if someone doesn't have it, then it's gonna be up to me to put it into the system.
Okay, so they'll just give me the data and you
Yeah,
input
they
it?
give me the data, I upload it.
Yeah.
But what it allows me for is, like, right now, I'm taking my tablet on inspections, I snap the pictures, I can put it right to that file, I don't have to come back and print them all off. So
Yeah.
everything's gonna be electronically. So it is, the Ministry of Housing is pushing this anyway, so
What's system in there?
cloud permit.
Cloud permit,
It's just a permit issuing system.
Yeah.
So, and that's what brings me into back to bylaw. I just received this correspondence today. They now are offering a bylaw enforcement end of it, so I will take a look at it and see what they think maybe that the training, and they said it's 30% less than what cloud permit is, and I have no idea what the fee was for cloud permit.
And then for cloud, so for cloud permit, so it's uploaded obviously on like some cloud system, but then we're also have it we would have it hard drive as well.
Yeah,
So we had both.
it's just,
With no paper, right?
they're trying to go paperless, but
You can't go
computers didn't really take the paper trail, right?
No, I agree with you. Yeah,
Paper's the way of the future. It is, you need paper.
Well, yeah.
You're just
Paper's the
gonna-
best thing
You're gonna
ever.
have a certain clientele of people that, until this generation is found out.
No, and that's what's gonna happen, and I guess probably in the next generation, computers are all, they're gonna be so good at, right? If my kids today coming up with their kids, when I finally do have grandkids, I mean, they're gonna be a service computer with it, literally. They're gonna be so good at it. I mean, I can't play no video games, I just can't do it. I'm not coordinated enough.
Paper would never let you down like that.
No.
that's right. Great and bad. But I think, Daryl, you know, you talk about phasing it in and there are gonna be some speed bumps in the road for this. I think it's a great idea. It'll be interesting to see how it rolls out.
You know, it's like the cities, I could see it in the cities, bigger centers for
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure if it's going to actually speed the process up, because like I said, if you don't have the information, you can't move forward. The system won't allow you. So you gotta make sure that the user's got all their ducks in a row. as
Right.
they're loading it in.
So are you gonna be able, if there's an error, just go back and edit it, or is it once it's in, it's? in?
Well, like, again, it just won't let you move. So,
So, no, but if there's, somebody puts
Oh,
an
absolutely,
error, so you'd be able to pull it back off the cloud,
yeah.
edit it,
Correct it.
correct it and put it back.
Put it back in, yeah.
Okay,
And it's also good for reporting, like when I go and close out a house, once I'm done the final, it goes right to impact immediately, whereas now I have to bring it back and wait till the end of the month. I put it into my report, it gets sent to them, then they go and try and do their supplement, do their final for their assessment. So it's supposed to speed up the process, but I'm.
I was amazed at how quickly, after our building permit was issued and we built that garage, how quickly impact was on our doorstep.
They have been getting better apparently, so I hear.
So I was actually in a Zoom meeting with these guys and I said, oh, impact's at my door, because I could see them on the ring, and Brent goes, did they leave you something? And I'm like, yep, it was hanging on the door to call them.
Perfect. I'll send my notice assessment there.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Perfect.
And I had no action items at all, so it's short and sweet. Cool. So do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Daryl?
Another one.
Have a good day, Daryl.
All right,
Yeah, thanks,
See you
Daryl.
next month.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Rolling along.
So, I know the fire chief wasn't sure if he was gonna be able to make it today, because, he's still very short staffed and lots of work to be done.
Okay.
So, I
He's
don't.
not short staffed, he's no staffed.
Okay. So he's, I don't see him waiting to get on.
Okay.
So, I don't know if, there were any questions regarding his report that you want me to take down, you want me to bring back to him or ask, or, I mean, I don't think there were any major issues. There were the firefighters continuing to recruit, maintenance of apparatus and equipment, continued training. Really the gist of his entire report. So if there's questions, I'm happy to take it back to the chief, and if
Shrug your shoulders.
So,
The one thing I did want to ask, or want to tell the chief, is that we were granted that, and this will interest you.
Oh, yes.
We were granted the delegation for the DZ licensing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So with all of these Ministry of Labor things going on, like the nurse shortage and all of that, I'm glad that we're taking a different tact to show that there's need across all sectors. And I think that that should be a really good delegation.
Go ahead, there, John.
so in reading this, does that mean we have our new equipment? As
you're talking about the extrication equipment,
Yeah.
yes, we do. Yes,
it
we do.
has, okay, so
Yeah,
that's
we
good,
have
because
received
Oh, good.
we were questioning, if we didn't know for sure if it's gonna come here with everything else.
It did get here,
Yeah,
yes.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So then there's gonna be training on it, of course, and then
Yes.
move the other equipment up to, okay. I just wanted to, just make sure that we had it. 'Cause the way it was written.
I think it's a miracle that it even came in this year.
Well, I'm surprised with everything else.
I know.
I just
all the-
wanted to confirm that.
All the stuff that we've talked about today. But I see that fire hydrants are like in stock.
Yeah, it's niche, right? It all depends. It's the demand, if people stop buying it, then it's gonna have available.
So that's it for you, Dave. Well, we'll move on to you again, Annette.
All right. So, the July financials are there. Review anything or have any questions? Everything's looking good to me as far
Good.
as where we're at in the year.
So on this tower now, how good are we? Good to go?
On the tower,
Yeah, I don't think there are any questions on the July.
the tower went well, and, the internet test, we were at 25%, we went up to 95%.
Yeah.
So
There you
that's
go.
looking good for the gun show, and if they need
Yeah.
internet, there should be good, strong signal now.
But
Super.
what's the end date for this? When, like, do we have 2 years now on it? Is that what the plan is, or?
Yes. So we did take the major antenna that was causing
The
the
wind
wind
loading?
loading issues, and we have had it, braced in. So I think what we're waiting to see is Bell over the next couple of years should be coming through with the internet. So when that happens, then we likely don't require the tower except for the paramedics. So we will have a discussion at that time, and maybe what we'll do is call them in to do an appraisal at that time. Maybe because we've taken the big wind loading off, it'll go longer than 2 years. They just wanted to make sure that we understood that it's not a permanent fix. So we'll see where we're at in 2 years' time. Maybe we want to just assess it If the paramedics are staying in and they will need it, or they will have to put up something else. But I mean, again, that's not our issue, that's theirs.
But
Everybody else will be fine.
you could realistically remove the top, reduce the height of the tower. And that would take some of the wind loading off the
That's right.
paramedics and on the top, so I would drop it down. And then you could do a structural analysis and you might be fine with
That's
it.
right.
Once you've taken the height of the
Yeah.
tower down.
So we'll,
So there's some options there.
yeah, that's right.
When we
Year's
were,
time, we'll have a look again.
when we were at the golf tournament, I said to Kevin, oh, how is the internet at the arena? He said, it's never been better.
No, it's great.
So, yeah,
Really good.
and more importantly, not more importantly, but equally as important for Daryl.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, so that's good.
Okay,
New server is installed. So the old server will become our backup. So that's going well. Didn't cause any major headaches. There's always blips when you change technology, but didn't cause any major headaches. So that seems to be going well. So we have not decommissioned the old one yet, because that's a process in itself. Industry. But once we do that in the next couple of weeks, then we'll start putting in the multi-authentication factoring, which is a requirement under cyber insurance. So that will come. So anyone who has an email, which all of council does, you will eventually get an email. So that'll say you need to get a text to your phone to still be able to access your email. So you're not gonna have to do that all the time. I think I'm gonna try and do it maybe quarterly. Or any new devices, but we're not gonna have you do it, every time you want to check your email.
Oh, it makes total
So-
sense.
No, yeah, so that's where a lot of the breaches are coming from. So we're gonna do our best to protect ourselves. I know the Northern Credit Union was hit last month or the month before. So there's a lot of information that's been taken out and is out and about now, unfortunately, but
Well, we've
I
been
haven't
getting a lot of
heard
spam.
any
Yeah.
major issues.
Well,
Yeah.
Tim keeps getting, I keep getting hacked and they're sending stuff to Tim for Tim to buy me things.
Well, I get it continuously almost every other day.
So
So if there's
is
in
it-
trouble, can you give me some?
Yeah.
oh, yeah, they use your name a lot.
Yeah, I always get
Yeah.
from you. I just delete them now. I'm just used to it.
And so that's.
I need
just
some money,
moving.
can you send me money?
Yeah.
Or all this
Okay, well,
crap?
Can you buy me- tell me.
Can you buy me gift cards or
Yeah,
something like
gift
that?
cards,
Only
Continue.
Tim told me.
I get one.
Well,
every-
they all told me, so I took the calls.
I get one once a week.
Delegated.
At least.
Yeah,
Still getting it.
Tim, you can deal with this, no
Yeah,
problem.
So you're not gonna stop spoofing. People can see our names on the website.
Yeah.
We're still gonna create a fake email address. and send it to us, and That's gonna happen. That's gonna continue to happen. So,
Yeah, they tried me too, and I didn't buy you a gift card.
No,
there you go. Perfect. Good.
well, one of you got one that said, you said like 8 gift cards.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
You're-
actually went
you're-
so far as to take a picture of an old gift card and send it to them and say, here you go.
you're-
Said,
you're-
please clean your lens, I can't see it. I was bored on a Saturday morning, what can I say?
What can you say? Yeah, so final tax bills printed, mailed out. Money is rolling in as we speak. And I just did want to say thank you to Sandra and all the staff. I was off there for a couple of weeks. I was in touch for the first week, but for about 4 days, my husband and I haven't been away together since 2016. And we really needed some time. And so that was a great break, and everybody, they absolutely had to phone me. Not that I could have done anything. I was like 5 hours away, but I would have done my best to help out. So I just want to say thank you to all the staff there. Animal shelter. So, as council is well aware, we lost 2 partners. We were already losing money, but we were losing, maybe $5,000 a year on the pound, which I think council was in agreement that okay, we'll keep it going and try to provide the service and see how that works out. But then after losing 2 partners, knowing that our inspection is coming due and we still haven't gathered up the money to do any of the work that was recommended off the last inspection with Mr. Fegan, and of course, ongoing liability, maintenance costs, all of those things. We had the discussion if there were other spots we could look at, because we lost 2. How many more partners are going to be jumping ships? How much can we raise our revenues? What are we going to do? So we raised them a bit, and In discussion, I did talk to the town of Renfrew, which both Admaston Brumley and North Dakota Wilberforce went to. They were not able to take us on. Did talk to SPCA Pembroke, and they were able to take us on. So we have the draft agreement there for council's review. And, we did give 90 days notice to our partners who can also contact SPCA if they want to sign up with them. And nothing would officially take effect until October 1st, 2022. So the draft agreement's attached, our solicitors looked at it, everything's looking good. And if council is still in agreement that this is how we will proceed, I would bring it forward with a bylaw to the September meeting and get it signed by ourselves and SPCA. So at the end of the day, the difference is right now, we're funding through the tax base about 21,000. Under our SPCA agreement, we'll be funding just over 7,000. And then, of course, we still have the insurance, the maintenance, and all of those other costs. So, could easily go to $25,000, $30,000 annually. So that's 1% on our taxes, as opposed to 0.00 for the 7,000. So that's there. Yeah.
Question on that.
Mhm.
So in reading this agreement that I see, it says that they're looking for 2,500 billed monthly.
A year, no, annually.
It says billed monthly.
No, it's annually.
It's
Oh.
annually,
It's
but
it's
billed
annually, but
monthly,
monthly. Sorry,
Oh,
billed monthly,
annually.
but it's an
So
annual.
it's 2,500 annually.
divided by 12.
Right,
That's-
okay. That's what I was, yeah.
Mhm.
All right. That clarifies things because it was,
Yes,
Yeah.
no, understand.
yeah.
I double read that one myself.
Yeah.
I said, it can't be.
Well, it can't be that. That's
Yeah.
what I was saying. And the difference is the impound fee, that's paid by the person who picks it up, right? To get their
So
dog
if they
back?
pick up their dog, so that's where you get into, if somebody's dog was running at large and their dog got picked up and they got taken to the SPCA, they have to drive out to the SPCA and they have to pay the fees and they have to pick up their dog. If it's a dog that, no owners come forward, then they do hang on to the dog for 3 days and they charge us for those 3 days. And then it's put up for adoption to different agencies. They have a lot of different contacts throughout the province. Of course, they're very large agencies, similar to what we try to do. We're a little bit smaller scale, so we don't always get to move the dogs within 3 days, but that's definitely what's in our bylaw is what we attempt to do. Sometimes it's 10 days, sometimes it's 14 days, but we're a smaller operation and we do what we can.
Right.
So, yeah.
And they're open 24 hours to drop dogs off?
They are open 24 hours with someone there to look after dogs. They're not open 24 hours to drop off dogs just because you found a dog. So
Right.
if let's say I found a dog running at large at my house, there's nothing wrong with the dog. It's not a 24-hour, 27 service. It isn't now. You know what I mean? It's you're not going to call and have the dog catcher come and pick up the dog at midnight, come and get this dog and take it to the pound, right? But I'm not saying you wouldn't, you could, but that's not the service that we're not looking to
That's right.
pay that kind of money for that kind of service.
But
So,
we don't have that service now.
so, what I would say is, look, if I was talking to a resident, I'd say, okay, what can you do with the dog? Can you throw them in your garage? Where can you put the dog that when tomorrow, when this service opens back up and our animal control officer is available, they will come and get the dog, they will transport it. So similar to now, there is somebody there 24/7 in case it's something different. So if a dog, if a dog is hit on the road, it's going to a vet, it's not going there. Maybe it's a safety issue where the dog has to be taken and put somewhere, or the person really can't, there's certain emergency situations where it's possible you have to pick it up.
Kind of case by case.
Yeah, case by case. Chances are, would our animal control bylaw officer be involved in that? Would it be the OPP that's involved in that? That's where sometimes it's other agencies that are involved. And in those instances, yes, they would open the door, they would let the person drop off that dog, and it had to be quarantined because there was, maybe there was a biting issue and, it's after hours, but it's really important that we get this dog in a quarantine. So emergency situations like that, but not 24/7 for anybody who wants to drop off a dog. Yeah,
But it's staffed 24/7.
yes, it is staffed
That's
24/7, yes. questions on that?
Not for me.
I did have questions from some of our residents
Mhm.
that didn't realize that we had an alternate plan.
That was a big concern,
That-
but we said, no,
yes.
the dogs are still gonna be looked after to the same.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
and that was a big
Yeah.
sign of relief,
Yeah.
from them, so.
Mhm.
No,
And
there's still gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
we still have measures in place to deal with the situation.
yes, yes.
But I think the thinking was, if we don't have a pound, we don't have,
Oh, yes, I
Right.
got that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we're still at.
we're still in the
capacity.
business.
Yes.
So I also attached so we have to develop an accessibility plan for the election and policies and procedures, so they have to be passed, I think by September 30th. So those are attached for your review. I did also get them approved by the County of Renfrew Accessibility Advisory Committee, because I'd like to have someone else review the accessibility plan. And they did, and they thought that it made sense, so that's good to hear. So it's ready to go. Questions on it? Sole source procurement, so the fire hydrants, Daryl did reach out to 3 different places, and we only got one back. So, we have to sole source, unless the council chose not to sole source and wanted us to start looking again. But in that case, then we definitely would not have our fire hydrants being replaced this year. So that'll come forward to council this evening. Water usage and capacity, so as Daryl already reported on that. The one thing I would ask is that, direction for Kevin and Daryl to sort of look into what the cost would be for putting a recycled water system in similar to Renfrew and Pembroke for the 2023 budget, just see what it costs.
You wanna go ahead first, Merv, and I'll just give my input on that.
We looked, I was here when we bought them,
Mhm.
and we looked at and it's not only the recycling cost, it's also a staff cost, because you have to test the water and go through these sort of things, so.
So,
We chose to go the town water rather than at that time.
Mhm.
I've also been cautioned and brought to my attention about recycled, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of municipality, even amusement parks,
Mhm.
that, there was a big write-up in a lot of stories and headlines this summer, how, it wasn't very safe, because of spouting and stuff that kids do, so, I probably advise against recycled setup on, because it's not working well in a lot of spots,
I
right?
didn't know it wasn't working well, but we were very cautious at that time. too,
Yeah.
Because of staff costs and checking
There's
costs.
a lot of negative
There's a whole lot of things
associated
involved.
with
But
it.
I think regardless, I think we should still look at it as an alternative and then look into it and
Oh, yeah.
then see what it is, right? Because clearly there's an issue, and as Jack said, Daryl's gonna look into it, and I think that's great. But it's something that, we just need to figure out what the solution is, and I'm sure they've worked out kinks since then as well.
Okay, so I was gonna say the same thing, that when we looked at it, what has transpired over the last few years? Do they have better filtration systems? Do they have, charcoal filters? So that was, and I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, the headlines were just from like a couple weeks ago, like
Yeah.
there's been a lot of issues. in
Yeah,
that
so I'm
area.
just
And actually,
thinking-
it was our council too, that, I think the numbers got brought back in 2019 probably. Like we actually, I remember, I think it was Brian presented it to us as well, like the actual
They-
figures on recycling the water.
Yeah,
So
They
I'm
were
sure obviously it's
expensive.
gonna be different. It's gonna be different now, but no, I'd 100% like a report on it or more information.
I don't think it hurts to look into it,
No,
Okay.
but I would also like to know, new technology, is the water gonna be cleaner when it?
well, that's the thing, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it has to be safe for the
Yeah.
residents,
Yeah.
and that's the ultimate goal. And that's the only reason why I'm,
Yeah.
even bringing forth a comment, because that was the ultimate
The other
risk.
thing, the other thing is too, if you're going to recycle, base it on the quantity that we use. Because your recycling system would be different,
Yes.
filtering based on
yes.
quantity. So you'd want
Yeah.
to use the worst case,
high end.
the
Mhm.
high-end column,
Mhm.
not the average of the month, but your high-end.
And
Yes.
Merv is absolutely correct.
Mhm.
The water has to be tested at
Yeah.
least once a day. I believe it might have been twice a day. the pH and all that.
Yes.
Depends on.
Just like a swimming pool.
Yeah.
But, the other thing is it has to be flushed, just like a fire hydrant as well.
Well, it's,
But just, the other thing I was thinking about, just look at the demographics. Back when we purchased that or before that, the Brentford County, it had the highest percentage of seniors anywhere in Ontario. Now, all of a sudden, we're having younger families coming. We're gonna have more.
There is,
using it.
there is, that's
You're gonna have
absolutely,
more.
you're right.
And that's great. We have younger families
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
Using it. The demographics, I haven't got a printout on this today, but the demographics obviously have changed in Brentford County.
Oh, and then the next part is for the sole source procurement for the land study that for Jail Richards and for Hutchison Environmental for Lake Clear. So those are, it did increase by $5,000, Jack, for the OP amendment.
Right,
So, yeah,
Good catch, Jack.
Yeah, very good catch.
so that's well. Okay.
I think sometimes when I get to the words official plan, I go like, I go kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
The bane of my existence.
And then the allocation for the funds that were donated to the Canada Dinner at McRae Park. So we just need to allocate those. I have those funds in-house, but we need to allocate them and issue tax receipts. So that request is also there and coming forward with a resolution this evening. And then there was, and I know that's under new business, but there is a tax adjustments report as well. If there are any questions on that. So that's all I have. If there's questions.
You had another one to add. I just realized that we passed one thing, but we didn't pass the other.
Oh, for the licenses, so
Yes.
it comes to council for the gun show. So we've got business
Oh,
licenses.
that's what it was.
Business licenses
Yeah.
being issued, but we didn't waive the fee.
I've seen that.
So we waived
So,
the fee,
yeah,
the
yeah.
business, but not for the licenses. So there's a resolution coming tonight, so we'll add that to the council agenda and pass that resolution to the back.
Sorry, I had a little confusion there between committee and council.
That's okay, yeah.
Anything else for Annette? Anything at all? Perfect. Annette?
Okay.
Great. Moving along to correspondence. I see nothing in correspondence A, correspondence B. Is there anything anyone would like to discuss on correspondence B? Going once, going twice, and gone.
So we'll do the lines for-
Tagoville Generation Corporation, we're gonna move on to doing unfinished business now. Tagoville Generation Corporation update, as I heard from Jack earlier, we're down. Is there any other information you'd like to pass along our way there?
Our LWMS, Will's gonna come down to do a little bit of, we've come up with interim fix for the gate right now, because if the screw jacks isn't altered. I think one of the ways to do it is we're going to maybe add a plate to the one side so that we can level it off, because right now to close the gate, I actually have to physically open it and let it fall about 2.5 centimeters. So if we
Okay.
add a plate onto the one side, it will compensate for the bow and the screw jacks.
That just gives me shivers, thinking like,
Physically open it.
yeah. That is not ideal.
No, and just to bring you guys up to speed, I'm in the process of trying to find a new software guru that we had. The gentleman we had, he works for A&F, and I got a call from the president last week that they found him deceased at his home. He was 51, apparently he had a heart attack. So he's in the process of finding a software guy, because that was my go-to guy for any issues, so we're trying to find somebody that understands the code. If we have any major problems, right now, we can sort of go through it, but if I had to do something like a major redesign, we'd have to find somebody else.
It's really too bad.
Yeah, he was, his daughter found him. We're like, he had no history of anything, so. But anyways. So, yeah, aside from that, like you touched on there, you touched on briefly, July's been a slow month for water, so it's gonna impact our overall annual production.
I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
No, it's not.
No.
And if people notice, I do have, I didn't seal up all the gates. The reason for that, there's not enough water to keep the turbines running. And if I sealed them up, when the turbine shuts off, I'd have to open the gate. So to compensate, because we have to keep a certain amount of water going downstream so that we don't have where the sewage outlet comes back in. So I figured it's just more, it makes more sense to just leave a certain amount of water go through the logs that are damaged that we couldn't replace because of the knots. You really realistically couldn't even seal them up properly anyway, so I just said best just to leave that water go through so that moves the.
River's low this year.
Yeah, it moves
You
it,
can just look at
it moves it through, because if not, because right now I don't even have enough water to keep one turbine running all the time.
Yeah.
It's reduced to like 60%.
Yep.
And you can't go below 60%, even with this double regulated, because then you're starting to impact the performance of the unit, because it starts, so I made the decision just to run it at 60, and then when it turns off, the other water keeps the going down the street. So if anybody comments on the water going through the line, just thought I'd bring you up to speed on that.
Thanks, Jack.
Okay.
Library board update.
Perfect, quite simple. The book sale was a really good success. In the 2 days, they raised $4,500. So that's,
Wow.
it's 1,000 on greater than last year. So it's a really good turnout there at the old fire hall, so I'm sure I'll have more report after. We don't have meetings during the summer, but pretty much programming is going good, high turnout. Summer students working out good, and everything's moving along good, so no complaints. But I just want to report on the fundraiser there. It's huge amount of success, so
That's fantastic.
a lot of books, that's, yeah, good ones too. That's it. Any questions? Perfect.
See how quickly this meeting's going, because I didn't have a mayor's report.
I don't know if you had enough time anyway from the last one. Over this year, right?
Yeah, it was severely impacted my meeting when I was chairing, so
Yeah.
it's all right.
You might have been into negative territory, so we might have to. caution
In the
you.
red.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the next items on the agenda are all just basically resolutions for later, right? So establish the next meeting date, which is September, somebody want to help me out here? 6th
6.
at 3 o'clock in the chambers.
Are we moving back to 3 o'clock when we're having the 2 meetings the rest of the year? I think that's. probably-
It worked
Yeah.
before, eh?
Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason why we kind of did this was because we had everybody,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
Okay.
so the next meeting date is at September 6th
At 3 o'clock.
at 3 o'clock here in the chambers. Media.
Okay, so I printed off the two, I guess, the proposals about the Lake Clear capacity assessment or whatever, and the RV use, land use study. So could somebody fill me in on, I said to look at the mayor for that.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the two different ones,
Yes.
right?
So I think I might throw this over to Annette just to explain
Okay,
who Hutchinson is, and you know who JL Richards is, but what the direction was that council asked, we've got to put this to bed once and for all. And if there has to be an official plan amendment, we want to be absolutely sure that we are traveling down the right road. So Annette, through direction from council, went and found the two, and you can explain what the difference between the two of them are, please.
So Jason Farragon is a planner,
Mhm.
and Brent Parsons is an environmental engineer.
okay,
And so, yeah, what we're looking to do is have an official plan amendment, because there's an official plan clause in the county official plan that's left over from the 80s, from Sebastopol's official plan, where no RVs are permitted on Lake Clear. So in order to address the RV zoning in our zoning bylaw for the entire township, we want to include Lake Clear in whatever decision goes forward. And so, of course, when you're doing an official plan amendment, it's helpful to have support of the ministry and support of the county and all those kinds of things. So some data was needed to sort of back up the ask. I don't really know where the decision came from in the 80s, but we're looking to make that change. So we have to defend that position. And so that's where the environmental engineer comes into play to look at the impacts and of RVs on the lake, and then make recommendations as to what they think environmentally is the proper planning recommendation. And then Mr. Farragon will then take those environmental engineer recommendations and put them into play for proper planning policies and make that proposal, and we will submit that to the county. And then if that gets approved and goes through all the right channels, then we were going to look at our zoning bylaw again for our, because we didn't change any of the RV provisions the last time because we didn't want to open it up until this was put to bed. So then we can look at that and reopen that discussion with Bruce Howarth and on recommendations of this documentation, and move forward with what's in the best interest of the township.
And just to be clear, we haven't made the decision that we're going to do the official plan amendment. We need the data to back up or tell us, no, you shouldn't be doing this.
If you can.
So that's what's that, Jack?
If you can, or if you can't.
If you can, exactly, if you can or if you
Yeah.
can't. And we think that this, as I said earlier, we think that this will finally and completely give us the information that we need to make an appropriate decision going forward.
Yep, it's third party. It's
Yes.
it's science and education, and it's what they do. Yeah, they're both leaders in their field. So we'll see what they have to tell us so that we can make an informed decision.
So, like, when I look at the dollar figures on here, you're doing both of these.
Correct.
They are being done together. And
So
even,
what's the total dollar amount then?
It's about $60,000.
$60,000?
but it's over 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
sorry. It's over 2 budget cycles. Some of it is coming from this year and some of it from next year. And
So what's 30,000 on the levy then?
1%, but we're
1%
we're taking it out of reserves.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
we're taking it out of reserves because we did have a fairly healthy surplus last year and we're able to put some monies into reserves. And we felt that this was, very expensive, obviously, but less expensive than either side of the RV issue, taking the township to the LPATs.
But there's no guarantee that doesn't happen anyway.
No, but
There,
No.
No, go ahead, Jack.
People can always appeal.
Yeah. but,
absolutely they can,
but,
but if the LPATs see that we've done our homework, then they can actually deny the claim. And we think that this will give us a definitive answer.
this is why we're hiring people that have knowledge of what's going on. Basically, we're using their knowledge to either provide us with the reliable information. Either there is justification for the RVs or there isn't, right? And it's not, we don't want to go on a bylaw that was created in Sebastopol in the late 80s or 90s, whenever it was. I don't know when it was
I
written.
think it was 86. I'm gonna
86.
say, but I don't know for sure if it was 86. It was in the 80s sometime.
Because if we get the information of the experts, then basically it's their opinion and not our opinion. And they'll have to, whoever wants to appeal it, they'll have to basically have their own set of experts to either challenge or not challenge, whatever they want to do.
Agreed.
Hopefully we'll put this whole thing to
Well,
sleep.
Yeah,
Merv, it's a decision above our pay grade, right? So you get the experts and you get them to say what you can and cannot do.
none of us are scientists and none of us are land use planners.
So the decision has been made to pursue both of
It
these.
will be this evening. Yep.
It will be decided tonight.
It has been decided in principle, yes, but
Okay.
I just need the official vote to make it happen.
Okay.
But we had heavy discussion.
Mhm. Yeah, okay.
This decision was not made lightly, and we had to weigh the pros and cons of spending this money. And the one thing this council absolutely agreed to was funding it over 2 years so that it wasn't, too much on the levy or on the reserves.
Mhm. Yeah, because, and I understand that discussions about this were made and closed, but then now these are public documents.
Yes.
correct.
We have the information and the scope of what's being done, and then also the price tag that's involved.
Yes,
Yeah,
But I think that this, for people on both sides of the issue,
Mhm.
knowing that we are investing some money and we are taking this very seriously from both perspectives. And as Jack just said, it's above our pay grade, we're going with experts.
and so the last question, I guess, then, it's like you were saying, it's over 2 years, so the final report, I guess, will be coming in. 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I did see in here, it talked about, the timeline and, acknowledging that the municipal elections are coming up.
Yeah.
Good, okay, great, thank you. That's what I was wondering about.
and yes, there was some sticker shock, Debbie.
not for me, I was shocked,
Yeah.
I thought we were getting it for a deal, I still think it's smoking table.
It's just when you're a small municipality and you look at, like the levy and stuff like that, I mean, $60,000 may not be a lot to.
It's a massive
larger
amount.
Municipality, but for our little ratepayers and for,
It is.
Tom Smith, whose property taxes are $2,000 a year or whatever, right?
It is.
So anyway, so
But,
that's
but
all I was
if,
asking.
but if you put something forward and you lose an appeal,
Yeah.
the cost for your lawyers is
No, I
gonna eat that
understand
up
that.
Yeah.
within a heartbeat, right? And then
Well-
you're basically put something forward that you don't have a leg to stand on. So that's the concern I have. This here will give us our decision if we have something to move forward with or we don't. That's the way it is.
Yeah, but like I said, there's no guarantee that you're still not gonna have to fight it with lawyers at some point.
No, but if you have legal experts on your side.
Yeah.
You have a lot better chance of winning if you don't.
Yes.
If you're just going on, 5 of us around the table here with no
Yeah.
expertise.
I said, he said, somebody else said.
And we realized when we were doing our comprehensive zoning bylaw, we realized that this was over our heads. Like, it's been going on too long, and it really is, he said, she said, from either side. And there have been so many different things brought forward. Is it water quality? Is it unfair taxation? Is it, I don't want them in my backyard, they bring down my property value? And if we're doing a comprehensive zoning bylaw for the whole township, let's make it worth their while, right? And if they tell us, yes, you can have them on Constant Lake, but you can't have them on Lake Clear, we will have to adhere to that.
And the good news is we got a grant of $23,000 to cover our zoning bylaw costs,
Yes,
which we had planned to pay for. So,
Like you go
that's
back,
gonna do a buffer too.
Yeah.
you go back onto Lake Clear, Debbie, and we've even asked the experts when they were here, when Victor was here. He could never present to us a time when the oxygen quality in that lake was good.
Mhm.
There's never been a time like what you call good, like 7.5%. It's always been low. When I asked him, 2 years ago about a phosphorus pie chart?
3 years ago.
Or 3 years ago, that never came. And Annette's contacted him on it, and it never did come forward with us.
Yeah.
Towards us, so what he committed to presenting when he was sitting at the table there, that he would give us a chart that would show us the phosphates contributed in the lake, and we never did receive it, so.
Well, it's a bit different asking a consultant to bring something than asking someone from the ministry.
Well,
Definitely.
the chances of the ministry overturning something from the LP are, come on, it's really not gonna happen. It's for an independent consultant to look at and say, these are the reasons why I don't think this has to be done. You're not gonna get somebody from the ministry that's gonna say, oh, no, I'm gonna go against,
Well, the other thing is,
because
will this study determine that there should be no development on Lake Clear?
whatsoever.
Like,
And it's still gonna remain a sensitive lake.
yes,
It's the impact and the specific official plan clause that says no RV should be there. And is that the right clause that we should have? I don't know.
Good
Yeah.
clarification, sorry.
Right.
Yes,
So you're not looking at taking away the sensitive lake
No.
status?
No.
The ministry will not, they've already said they have to support, like even to remove this clause, if the ministry says absolutely not, then we're gonna have a hard time passing that through the county.
Yeah.
So that's why we need the documentation to support us, so that the ministry goes, yeah, this makes sense. And, you know, Brent's done a lot of work with the ministry, so,
not our
Brent.
Brent.
Brent Parsons.
Oh,
Yeah,
Our environmental
not
engineer.
Brent Patrick.
We'll almost give you some credit there,
It's a
buddy.
great name.
Yeah.
There.
That's why we have him.
Good, okay. thank you.
Satisfy you?
Yeah.
There, Debbie, good, so. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So with that, I'm gonna do a 5-minute break before I go into closed.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I have to declare.
Okay,
So do I for negotiation.
okay,
Come back.
Okay.
okay. So I move it that the committee, oh, are we ready?
Sorry.
Committee proceed in the closed session in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, section 239-2 to deal with the matters as indicated below, labor relations or employee negotiations, and an identifiable individual.
So,
Okay, mover. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we can't vote.
no,
So I am declaring a conflict of interest and I will be leaving the room.
I'm declaring as well for labor negotiations, I'll be leaving them.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I don't feel hard to me. Thank you.
So we are now closed.
Is the thing?
Yes, it still is. Okay, carry on.
Can I get a mover to come out of closed? Brent? Here be the committee moves out of closed session to rise and report the council met to receive information, give staff direction regarding employee negotiations, a complaint receiving regarding an employee, and to approve the minutes from July 12th, 2022. All in favor? Good, we're now in a closed.
Okay, now we're back in the open committee.
So now you asked for.
Oh, yeah. Can I get an adjournment to Murph?
Sure, yeah.
All in favor? Good.
Great.
Thanks.
And then should we open up the our public council meeting and then go in a recess and then so you have time to do your document that we need?